Hello, this is Brennan Wilmington of the Left Turn Network, and welcome to the Lumen Stock Car Invitational. This is not a LSCI race. This is single car qualifying for the 2025 Lumen 500, and we are officially kicking off Speed Weeks here with this event. I've been very excited for this event ever since I announced it at the start of the year. This is the first time that we've done single car qualifying for a race since 2022, and this is the first time that we've ever done one for an LSCI race. And it's going to be a very long it's going to be a very long event, but it's going to be a very fun and interesting event, I think. uh we have three co-commentators here for today who will be rotated in and out, and the first one is the one who's going to call the rest of the Lumen 500 events after this. It's Anthony McClure. And Anthony, let's start with talking about the track itself, Daytona International Speedway. Of course, you live in Florida, so this is basically your home track. Tell me what this track means to you.
It's a very special track to say the least. It's Daytona. It's big, uh, which equals big events. You have like the Rolex 24. You have the Lumen 500, obviously, the Daytona 500. Is that a thing in LSCI?
Uh, yeah, I guess it is.
Okay, well, yeah, the Daytona 500. Even like the Coke 0400 kind of was popular for a little bit. It's just like something about Daytona makes the racing more special, more important. It doesn't matter which event. It's like uh they don't call it um
The world's center of racing.
I don't know why I forgot that. They don't call it the World Center of Racing for nothing. Is what I'm trying to say. I
Yeah,
feel bad.
and the Lumen 500 has been our biggest event on the channel ever since the first running of its. Well, I'm not really sure when to consider the first running of it. I guess 2020, that was a diecast race. It's kind of hopped around between what sort of series and what style of race it's been, but the Lumen 500 has existed in some form since around 2020. And it's found a home with the LSCI here. This is the third time that the Lumen 500 has been an LSCI race, which started in 2023. Um, and Anthony, our first group of cars, we're splitting it up really into three segments for our co-commentators. And out of this first group of cars that we're about to see, the first 16, who's catching your eye the most in terms of who you think has the best shot at the pole?
What is going? What?
I should have shared that with you. Huh. Hello?
Something's going on. I don't know why I'm hearing some other audio.
What do you mean by some other audio? I paused the game. It shouldn't be coming from that.
Oh, that was coming for you, I think.
Yeah? What?
Uh,
What?
It just stopped.
It's me talking.
No, I don't know, man. I'm so sorry about this intro.
It's fine. It's fine. We can cut all this out.
Ah. Okay, so what were you saying?
I was asking, out of the first 16 cars, your group, who catches your eye as someone who could win the poll?
All right, let me see. Let me see here. I'm looking at it. It's like kind of got a lot of underdogs in this group. Not a lot of big names, except for maybe like Taps, who's in the championship hunt. Maybe like um, Kobe Hollenbeck, Tajima. But there's a lot of drivers that are like low in points. You got like Joanna Clark, who has kind of struggled. Adrian Wheeler. Ashley Blake and Shauna Everett with their team. Andrew Kreider, Lulu Connie's a big one. Charlie McCarron, well, that's a championship contender as well, if I remember correctly. So, if I had to pick anyone, it's kind of a tough ask. Say maybe McCarron.
McCarron would be a good pick for sure.
Yeah.
And this is going to be a very interesting night of qualifying because of the high speeds. Last year, the pole speed, even though we didn't have this kind of single car session, we did still have the game run a quali session, and the fastest time was a 45.229, which was just a skosh under 199 miles an hour. And that was during the daytime. Now we're running it at night. The temperatures are cooler. You're also going to be getting a nice tailwind coming down the front straightaway, so that could increase speeds as well. It is very possible that for the first time in the restrictor plate era, we're going to see a car go over 200 miles per hour in single car qualifying. But we're not sure yet. We have not seen anybody take the track yet. But that's definitely a possibility here, and that's definitely got a lot of eyes on this event just due to the sheer pace of the cars.
Yeah, totally. It's also night out. It's very cool. There are going to be some high speeds here at Daytona.
Our first car to take the track out of 46 entries is the number 58 of Joanna Clark. And Anthony, you mentioned that she was struggling in the points, 23rd. That doesn't sound great at first, but she's driving for Diamond Motorsports. She's a rookie driver in terms of full-time competition. She's run the Lumen 500 before, but this is actually not that bad of a start to the season for Joanna. I mean, last race at Iowa, she won the pole, kept that car in the top 10, and managed to finish 8th. So definitely one of our overachievers this season. But the thing I want to focus on for Joanna Clark is she's obviously the first one out, and that definitely plays a role in her lap time here. What do you think? What do you think Joanna's going to be looking for out of this time?
Well, she's the first one out, so she's trying to set the table, I guess. I would assume. But the problem with going first out is that you don't know what to gauge your lap time on. Like, you're the first one out, and you're just gonna hope for the best. Maybe you get a good time, maybe you don't. Who knows?
Yeah, Joanna Clark's really. I think I remember in some of the Daytona 500 qualifying sessions, I've seen they've compared the first one out to some sort of rabbit. I don't remember uh, the whole idiom there, but Joanna Clark 190 exiting turn 4 on her warm-up lap. They will only get one flyer lap in each session, so they have to make it count. And the warm-up lap's a 51.7, so we'll see where she goes on her flyer. 198, 199 for second there, entering turn number 1. And keeping it above 195 going through the corner. And that goes to show you just how fast these guys are going. Slipped down to 194 a little bit, but holding 195, 196 down the back.
Yeah, very fast, but I imagine as the track gets more grip, it's going to be a bit faster for some of these other drivers.
Coming out of turn number 4, what lap will Joanna Clark set to kick off the session? It's going to be a 45.464, so only a couple tenths off of last year's pole time. And
I don't know.
That's
Sorry, you continue.
that's a pretty good start considering comparing it to last year, but I don't know. I feel like these guys can go faster than that. But we'll see. We'll have to see what happens throughout the night. It's a little too early to tell. We've only had one car go. Next up to qualify is the Hudson Racing number 18 of Zach Dearman, and the time to beat is a 45.464. set by the 58 of Joanna Clark, and we're expecting this car to be a little bit faster. Hudson Motorsports has won 2 races this year, and including the season opener at Atlanta, which is the closest that we've had to a Daytona race so far this year. Do you think that might play a factor in the speed we see in this Hudson Motorsports 18 car?
I think so. I mean, it's a very fast track, similar to that track, so maybe they'll run a similar setup to what they ran there.
And that was race pace. Qualifying sessions are obviously way different than that. And at Atlanta, we had a group qualifying session. So the draft was a major factor in that. But this time, the draft is not a factor at all, completely non existent. It all comes down to the race car. Zach Dearman, he's had a pretty good season so far. He is sitting top 5 in points, I'm pretty sure. I think he's either second or third. Let me pull them up real quick. I should have had them up from the beginning. He's second in points right now.
Second.
But he's 42 points back of Tim Berry. So, everybody chasing Tim Berry wants to have a good Lumen 500 to kind of gain some points on him, because he's been kind of running away with the points lead. But we'll talk about that when we get to Tim Berry. But Zach Dearman, he's doing a great job. He's been leading the charge for Hudson Motorsports, and he's really helped elevate this team to a true contender.
I'm gonna be honest, I did not know he was second in points and is having a great year all around.
Oh, hits 200, 201 going into turn number 1. And this lap is already looking much faster than Joanna Clark's lap. We'll have to see what kind of... He loses quite a bit of speed off of turn 2 rather. Kind of flutters with the 194, not really gaining that much time down the back. So the back stretch is really killing him here. And you're going into the wind when going down the back straightaway, so you can't really accelerate as fast as you'd want to, but that lap started good.
Speed. Yeah, but I don't know if the backstretch win is going to help him at all. We'll see.
45.444. And so that is going to be your provisional pole now. He's just barely faster than the 58 car of Joanna Clark. And the third car to go out to qualify is the number 40 of Adrian Wheeler. This is the first Chevrolet to take the track. We had a Honda go first, we had a Ford go second, and now it is time for the Chevrolets to show their speed. First of the Motor Racing Ventures cars to go out as well.
Wheeler's around near where Clark is in points.
Yeah, he's 24th in points. He's not the worst of the Motor Racing Ventures cars this season, but definitely a lot to be desired for this season. Maybe a bit disappointing to Wheeler. He won a race last year. He finished around this same spot in the points, though, and maybe he was hoping that Motor Racing Ventures would be an upgrade, but hasn't been the greatest of starts, but we'll see what kind of speed he has in this number 40 machine.
Yeah, it's never too late to have a turnaround. It's about halfway through the season. You never know what could happen.
Yeah, this is race number 10 of 28, so there's definitely time to get stuff turned around. We saw Laken Herndon have a very rough start to the season. He's still down in 18th in points, but he has been looking faster as of late. We could see the same thing happen from Wheeler. And the Chevrolets have shown some qualifying pace in the past, so it's possible that we could see that here again. He's 190, 191 on his warm-up lap.
Picking up the pace.
Gonna try and catch that wind exiting the corner and take the green flag on his flyer at 197. That warm-up lap is significantly faster than what the 18 or the 58 turned. He's hitting 200, entering turn 1. He's got to try and hold that speed through the corner. He's losing it a bit.
No, he's
looking faster than the last couple, though.
Speed.
And he's starting to pick up speed down the back. 198, 199, maybe. Yep, he gets to 199 entering turn 3. I don't think it's going to be over 200, but I think we have a new fastest lap if he can keep it going coming out of turn number 4.
That car is on rails right now.
199 across the line, 45, 105. And that's just a 10th off of a 200 mile per hour lap. So very good qualifying lap for Adrian Wheeler. He is going to top the charts now. Next car out on the track is going to be the 16 car of Corbin Taps. And he is one of the best super speedway racers in LSCI. He won right here at Daytona in the amateur series in 2023, and he also won a duel here in 2024, and he also got his first and so far only LSCI Cup Series win. Actually, no, his first LSCI win at Talladega. I forgot that he also won Hillside a couple of races ago. But Corbin Taps definitely could be a threat for the pole here. He is currently, in terms of the points, also 4th in points. So 4th out, 4th in points. Maybe that's lucky. I don't know. I'm just making stuff up.
4th and 4.
Maybe. Well, we'll see what Corbin Taps has here in terms of pace in this car. McPicky Motorsports, we know they're fast. They've won 4 races this season already, but haven't quite seen what they have in terms of the raw speed at the super speedways. Taps looked pretty good at Atlanta. Led a few laps in the early part of the race, but he kind of fell back towards the end. But we'll see what the second-year driver can do.
To say he's having the opposite of a sophomore slump is a big understatement right now.
1 win, 4 top 5s, 5 top 10s. Pretty good start to the season so far for Taps.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And also kind of a championship contender.
Well, I think we could consider anyone in the top 10 a potential championship contender this early in the season. 51.465 on the warm-up lap. Not quite as fast as Wheeler, but definitely faster than the 18 and the 58.
203 into turn 1.
This lap is looking like a flyer. Got down to 196 on the backstretch, trying to push that car to get it a little bit faster. Got it up to 197. I mean, if he was able to hit 203 into turn number 1, this might be it right here. We'll see if he can carry the speed through the corner. He's losing some pace, though.
Oh, yeah, no, he's not really doing very well in 3 and 4 at all.
Look at this. Look at the acceleration off the corner. He's going to get over 200 before the line. Is this going to be the lap? No!
Yes, it is!
He's just short.
Oh, never mind.
He had to get under 45 seconds for a 200 mile per hour lap. 45.029, just barely short. He is the fastest of the cars that have gone. But still,
that's what I was confused about.
The 200 mile per hour lap eluded him. I thought with the 203, I thought for sure. But again, he just carried a little bit too much speed into turn 1 and wasn't able to arc the corners as well. Next up is the first Toyota to take a qualifying time. It's the Columbia Motorsports number 99, driven by fan favorite Akiya Tajima. What are we expecting out of Tajima for this lap? Because, each car has gone faster than the last. Corbin Taps almost eclipsed 200 mile per hour. Do we think Akiya could be the one to do it?
Akiya's usually fast. I don't have any doubt that he can do that. I mean, he's one of the most consistent drivers in LSCI, but I'm not sure about his qualifying pace, to be honest, but his team is usually pretty fast.
Columbia Motorsports has won this race before, back in season number 2 with JB Chanot. Akiya Tajima's 13th in points. He's the only Toyota driver with a win this year, which he got back at Kansas.
What does that say about Toyota?
Toyota's been struggling this season. It's not as bad as it could be, but their highest driver is Karina Willis Calloway, who is Definitely not driving as good a car as the Columbia cars or the NH cars or the Pacific cars, but she's beating all of them. And
I forgot.
it'll be interesting to
Forgot.
see it'll be interesting to see what she does when we get to her. She goes really late though. Meanwhile, Akia Tajima not looking quite as fast on his warm-up lap, but he's got time to recover. If he can get a good launch out of 4, he could definitely reverse that.
Kind of forgot Connie switched to Toyota with the Pacific partnership.
I'm pretty sure they weren't Toyota last year. This is their first year. But that warm-up time, 51.607, not very promising in terms of beating Corbin Taps' time here. 201 through turn 1, though, and he held it for quite a bit.
Yeah, he's holding it a bit. 196 down the backstretch is pretty promising.
Tapped 195 going out there, but he's not gaining anything down the back at all.
Oh, no, that's not.
So,
that's concerning.
It's probably not going to be faster than Corbin Taps. Probably going to buck the trend of each car going faster than the last, but we'll see where that time ends up for the 99 car.
Yeah, he's really lost speed in 3 and 4.
Might get to 200 before the start-finish line, and he did.
He will.
And it's a 45.188. That should put him in 3rd out of the 5 cars to qualify.
Could be worse.
Definitely could be worse. Next up on the racetrack, Damon Kirby in the 13, driving for Checkered Flag Racing, and this is the first driver in this session who is attempting to make his first Lumen 500.
Yeah, Kirby's a rookie this year, and he is not really having a good year considering his success in LSCIM.
Yeah, and he won a cup race last year. If you remember, he actually out-dueled Tyler Landry to win at Denver. But ever since...
That was a big upset.
It was a big upset. Ever since he's gotten the full-time ride, though, it's been a struggle. He had one good run at Hillside. He got a top 10 there. But, Checkered Flag Racing as a whole has been struggling. They've definitely fallen off from where they were last year. Lori Jackson, I mean, she's doing all right, but the other 2 cars have just been... It's been rough. But, this will be a great race to kind of reverse their fortunes. But, I think now would be a great time to talk about the qualifying format, which I probably should have done at the top of the show, but,
Whoops.
The top 2 cars from this qualifying session will be locked into the front row for the main event. The rest of it is going to set the dual lineups. However, there is a chance for one of these drivers that are a little bit lower down the timesheet to lock in on their quali time. And that would be the case if all of the past champions are able to qualify in normally and don't have to fall back on that provisional. Because then that last spot will go to the highest up qualifying time that was not able to get in through any other means. So when we get to the oh my goodness, hold on a second, Damon Kirby is entering 203 into the corner. His warm-up lap was a 51.173. Hold that thought. This is looking like a very fast lap time. 196. Picks it up to 197, going down the back. Is he going to be able to gain any more speed down there? Doesn't look like it.
No.
But he's holding pace pretty well. We'll see. We'll see what he can do. If he can get that run off of turn 4, he might have a shot at Corbin Taps here.
Gonna get a lot of acceleration here on the tri-oval.
200. 201. And a 44.991.
Yes!
David Kirby's done it. The first
wow, what a time.
200-mile-an-hour lap in a restrictor plate stock car. And it's done by Damon Kirby. Boy, I did not see that coming.
I don't think any of us saw that. That was an incredible lap.
Damon Kirby, have yourself a day. And this is the exact kind of lap he needed. I was just talking about if he can't get in through the duels or through the he definitely can't take a points provisional because he's 31st in points.
No.
This could be a good way to do it with this time. That's a 200.040, so just barely. But regardless, he's done it. What a lap for Damon Kirby. Next up, number 79, Kobe Hollenbeck, the second Columbia Motorsports car to take the track, and he's got some big shoes to fill after that last lap. Damon Kirby going over 200 miles an hour, and Akiya Tajima on his lap, he's fourth out of sixth fastest at a 45.188. So that's his teammate. Do we think that that's a good benchmark to kind of follow for Kobe here?
Yeah, I think you want to follow your teammate because I don't know if the setup is right to beat Kirby right now. But we'll wait and see. We didn't expect Kirby to get into the 200s.
He might not be the only one to get into the 200s. I mean, if one
Oh,
car can
definitely
do it,
not.
if a checkered flag racing car can do it, then I think anyone can. So it's just a matter of execution here. Kobe Hollenbeck is 16th in points, and he only has one top 10 on the year though, so it's been a very strange season for Kobe Hollenbeck. He finished. He's pretty consistent in terms of finishing in the top 20, but he hasn't really been a contender to win yet this year.
Yeah, I would say he's usually better than 16th in points and one top 10.
Yeah, that one top 10 is a top 5 to be fair. I don't even remember what race that was at. Uh I think it was Phoenix actually. So race number 4 of the season.
It's been a little bit.
Let's see what this warm-up lap looks like for Hollenbeck in the number 79. 51.641, not too promising. About a half a second off of Damon Kirby's warm-up lap, and
Oh, 203.
he hits 203 in the corner too. So I was gonna say the warm-up lap isn't always indicative of what the flying lap is gonna look like. It's a good benchmark, but it's not the end all be all. Does look
No, but
like
he's not.
Hollenbeck is going slower down the backstretch
Yeah,
though.
yeah, still not on the backstretch.
See how he carries his speed through the corner.
Oh, he's not doing a great job at that.
I mean, he's held it till 194. That's not too bad going around the corners.
Yeah,
We'll
you're
see
not
the
wrong.
launch
I
he
thought it was
gets.
gonna get.
199, 200, 201 right at the line, 45.085. That's going to put
That's
him
better than his
third.
teammate.
That will put him behind Kirby and Taps, but he beat everybody else, so that turned out to be a pretty solid lap for Hollenbeck.
Yeah, he beat his teammate. That's good news.
Next up on the track, it's the number 52 of Ashley Blake, the first of the Blake Everett cars. And there are not enough words in the English dictionary to describe just how bad Ashley Blake's season has been so far, and mostly through no fault of her own. It's been. I don't even own her car, and I'm frustrated by what's been happening to her this year.
Yeah, it's just baffling and sad. It's
Yeah.
just
Oh,
the whole team. Like honestly, it's just so depressing.
the last 7 races, she has scored. Let's see here. 21 points in all 7 races combined, including 1 D&Q. So that's 3 points a race. I don't think it gets worse than that,
Doing her best
realistically.
Colorado Rockies impression.
Yeah, this Blake Everett Motorsports team has been working tirelessly. They upgraded their cars after Kansas, but they've just had such bad luck this year, especially this 52 car.
Yeah, no, the 52 has had multiple drivers, hasn't it?
52 started off as the rotating car, but because the 36 was so bad in owner points, they put Blake in the 52, and kind of did a bit of a number swap there. It's helped Blake make the races now, but it has not helped her in the races themselves. We'll see what she has here. Maybe she can get a good qualifying lap in, at least have something good happen. But This warm-up lap's not looking too great. Yeah, 51.607. About on par with Hollenbeck's. 202 entering turn number 1. And she loses speed in turn 2.
Oh yeah, that's just
Down to 195 on the exit of turn 2. So this isn't looking like a great lap for Blake, but you never know. Anything can happen in the duels. Blake is currently 35th in points. Her car is 32nd in owner points.
193. Yeah, this lap is cooked.
Will she get to 200 across the line? She will.
She will.
45.232. So better than
Well,
Dearman and Clark, but that'll put her 6th out of 8.
that's something to be happy about, I guess.
Next up on the grid, it's Montana Sherman in the number 15. Anthony, this is a car that you're pretty familiar with, isn't it?
Yeah, I would say I have a lot of experience watching that car race around Daytona a couple times and a couple other tracks as well.
Yeah, this is a throwback to his RMS scheme back when he started stock car racing in 1998. You can actually watch the RMS racing on the Raybestos Motor Series YouTube channel. So maybe we'll put a
It's
link to that in the description. It's a very nice series. It's a lot like this one, except it's taking place in the late 90s. So very
yeah,
cool theming for sure. But Montana Sherman, 57 years old. He's the oldest driver in the race, and it's great to see him back after the crash at Kentucky took him out from the second half of last year. And this car is a checkered flag racing car, so it's the same team that Damon Kirby drives for, and we saw what Kirby did. So, does Montana Sherman have that same pace?
I don't know.
Well, we're about to find out. Sherman has 3 wins in LSCI, won 2 of them in Season 2 and 1 in Season 3. That last one came at Atlanta. This is his second race of the season. He was in the Rockingham race earlier in the year as well. He finished 30th.
Yeah, seems like he has bad luck at the Rock.
Yeah, this car is go or go home. It has to qualify in through the duels or through qualifying,
That's not a very good first lap.
or else Sherman will not start the race. And the warm-up lap's not looking promising. He got to 202 entering turn 1, but he's losing speed through turn 2,
Oh
down to
boy, he's losing a lot of
195.
speed. This is concerning.
He's not gaining any either down the back. This is not going to be a very good lap for Sherman, unfortunately.
Oh yeah.
Bit disappointing considering the pace that Damon Kirby showed in his lap, but yeah, it's not looking great for the 15. Coming off a
Yeah,
4.
not ideal. I don't even know if he's gonna get up to 200 maybe.
Just gets
Yep.
to 200 across the line. 45.298. He is 7th fastest of the 9 that have gone. And
Well,
it's looking likely that Sherman's going to have to get in through the duels instead. Next up is the third of the Columbia Motorsports cars. It's Lakin Herndon in the number 39. And we touched on him earlier where he had a pretty difficult start to the season, but he's starting to find some pace in this car as of recent. And the time that he's definitely going to be aiming for is 45.085 by his teammate Kobe Hollenbeck, which is currently 3rd. If he cannot reach the 44.991 that Damon Kirby put up, which is still the only 200 mile per hour lap we've seen tonight.
yeah, I'm not sure if anybody is gonna beat that. It seems more impossible with every passing car, but there's some faster cars in the field for sure that I'm probably not going to be here to commentate, but we'll see.
Pace car is going to pull off there for Lakin Herndon. And he's been one of the better drivers in LCI. He has a win in every season, save for this one, but there's still time for him. Plenty of time for him to get his first win of the year.
Honestly, didn't know that. Very consistent.
Yeah, Herndon
It's like
has
Kyle
been
Busch.
Herndon has been very consistent in his career. This has really been the worst start to a season that he's ever had, which is kind of surprising considering the ratings differences you'd think would have helped him because, he's Columbia Motorsports has pretty good cars, but just been some pretty bad luck to start the year.
They might not have good cars, but they have pretty cars.
Yeah. We've seen the Alani new cars for all four of the Columbia cars. This time it's Herndon's turn to run the Cherry paint scheme. 51.633, not looking too fast here for Lakin Herndon on the warm-up lap.
Oh.
He's not even going to get to 201 entering turn number 1.
This might be a problem.
This is not looking good for the 39.
Yeah.
Got down to 194 exiting turn 2. He's gaining speed down the back, but I think it's too late.
Down the back.
I think that first half of the lap was too weak.
Yeah, no, that was a struggle and a half.
He kissed 199 entering 3, so he's carrying some good speed through the second half of the track. We'll have to see if that can help save the lap time a little bit. 198, 199, not even going to get to 200.
Yeah, no.
45, 116 though.
Kind of shocked by that.
That's 5th out of 10. So I guess he was just consistent enough and holding speed down the back to be able to salvage a decent time out of it.
He's Mr. Consistent, I guess.
Yeah, much like his racing career, he was very consistent out there on the racetrack. Next up on the track, it's Charlie McCarron in the 85, the first of the Walker Brothers racing cars to go out. McCarron is 3rd in points, so we've had 3 of the top 4 in points out on the track here in the early stages. And, we've had 10 cars go now. What kind of patterns have you been seeing, Anthony, in terms of the laps?
Yeah, I've been seeing a lot of patterns, especially from George. I was about to say George Kirby. Damon Kirby's lap. 203 in turn 1 is where you want to be if you want to get that 200 lap. And then down the back stretch, you want to be around like 196, I believe. And then hopefully gas it up on the front stretch for the final stretch. And hopefully you'll be under 45.
Yeah, that is the goal here, is to beat that 44.991 that Kirby put up. Charlie McCarron could be the one to do it here. This is the second Honda to go out. The first Honda to go out, Joanna Clark, still has the slowest time, 45.464, but Walker Brothers Racing has a little bit better cars. Better team. So we could see some speed out of the Hondas here. Charlie McCarron, I hate to bring up this stat again, but I'm going to bring it up again. This is her 78th race, and she is locked into the race on points, so it will be her 78th LSCI race, but she's never gone to victory lane. And you got to imagine that for her, that's got to be kicking her at this point, even though she has won some exhibition races. Just having that 0 in the win column for the points races, it eats away at you, especially for so long.
Yeah, she's the bridesmaid, but never the bride.
201 in turn 1. The warm-up lap looked pretty good, 51.332.
Yeah.
She's going to get to 197 down the backstretch and gaining speed.
Oh, wow.
This is a very good backstretch for the 85 car. Is she going to get to 200? She is into turn 3.
Oh, my.
She's losing just a little bit of speed, but this 3 and 4 is one of the fastest that we've seen tonight. 196. And now she's going to gas it up for the final run. 199, 200, 200, 44, 863. And she has demolished Damon Kirby's time straight to the top. Charlie McCarron.
Holy hell, that backstretch on 3 and 4, that was the best I've seen tonight. Just so consistent. Even
She
though
not only she
hit
barely
203 in turn
touched
1.
196 exiting 2, and she was way she was 197 and up. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that's the first time I've seen anybody hit 200 going into turn 3. So
Yeah, I don't think I've seen that before. Maybe.
it is no wonder. So that is now the time to beat. Oh boy. I mean
Definitely made up for not hitting
that time
203 in turn 1.
I would not be shocked if that ends up being a front row time by the end of this thing.
Yeah. Yeah, 100%. I agree with you.
Next driver up, it's the 01 of Isabella Fitzmaurice, and this is the first Patriot Racing Incorporated car to take the track. And this is important because Patriot Racing Incorporated won last year's event with their third entry driven by Billy Smith. And that is the car that Isabella Fitzmaurice is driving today.
Gotta imagine maybe the same setup as last year?
You got to think so, but you also got to remember that that car barely made the race to begin with. So the Billy Smith's team definitely did a lot to improve the car over the course of the week between the duels and the race, because he was very fast in the race. But we'll see if maybe that win helps help the crew this year to prepare a good car for Fitzmaurice. And Fitzmaurice is attempting to make her first Lumen 500.
Yeah, that's a very, very good question. Maybe all that experience from last year of tweaking the setup on Billy Smith's car maybe really helped them make a good setup for Fitzmaurice tonight. And maybe
Isabella
for the race as well.
Isabella Fitzmaurice is the only Canadian driver in the field this year. So no, all of Canada is going to be pulling for her. And Fitzmaurice in the amateur series is pretty good on the super speedways, and that's what's got her this 3-race deal for Patriot Racing Inc. She was in this car at Atlanta, and she's going to be in it again at Talladega. But as you can imagine, with this being a limited starts car, it is a go or go home entry. So Fitzmaurice is going to have to put down a good lap here, or she's going to have to advance through the duels, and that warm up lap is not cutting it. Although
Oh,
that's some pretty
very
good
cut
speed through
203.
1 and 2. She held 202 for quite a bit. She is losing some speed off of turn 2. She's holding 196 down the backstretch. This is looking like a decent lap. Nothing crazy,
Yeah.
but this could be good for Fitzmaurice to get a solid lap time in.
95. I'd say there's a chance.
Got down to
Never mind.
193, though. I'm not sure. We'll see
That's
if she can carry some speed out of the corner.
gonna hit
200,
200.
201 right at the line, 45, 132. That's going to put her in 7th out of the 12 that have gone.
Huh? That's not too bad.
Definitely not a terrible attempt there for Fitzmaurice. Kind of puts her right in the middle of the field, but I mean, it's probably going to come down to the duels for her. I don't imagine she'd get locked in off that time. If the past champions provisionals don't end up being used, but could set her up good for the duels. Next up on the track, it's the number 24 car of Cooper Spur, and for once, he's living the dream. He's got the camera all to himself for 2 whole laps.
I'm taking that he's very selfish.
Not really. He just really likes being on camera.
So he's like Tomo.
I guess so. I guess. Although I think Latanya would be a better comparison there. Oops!
Well,
Did
yeah,
I just
obviously.
spoil who's up later in the race?
Uh-oh!
But Cooper Spur in the 24, driving for himself. Single car owner driver, although definitely not lacking in sponsorship. Has been the most successful single car owner driver aside from George Bryan in LSCI. He's gotten a couple wins under his belt. Not the greatest of starts this season, though. He's 30th in points. His car is 31st in the owner points. Or no, he's 30th in owner points as well. I just broke the tie the wrong way for the owner points standings. Oopsie. But yeah, he's definitely going to need to have a good run either here or in the duels if he wants to get that car into the race. He missed the race last year. This is his first season where he's driving Hondas. He's traditionally driven Chevys for most of the season, but made the switch here. And you know, a Honda's got the fastest time. Maybe he's got some of that speed in his car.
You know, I kind of feel like there's been a bit of a downfall of single car operations these last couple seasons.
It's definitely been the case, and especially been exacerbated with the ratings differences. Ooh, boy, that's not a good warm-up lap for Cooper Spur.
Oh, that is
But
awful.
he's carrying some speed into turn 1. We'll see if he can maybe pick that up here. Speed's going to fall off in turn 2. It's going to get down to 195 down the back straightaway. It's looking promising through the first couple corners. Maybe he can gain some stuff, but this is not going to be a good lap for Cooper Spur. He's not even going to be able to get to 196 down the back.
It's not good.
And 196 is pretty much the standard going down the back straightaway. If you're holding that, you're probably going to get a solid lap time. And
oh, he got down to 192.
Being under that's not a good sign. Cooper Spur is going to cross the line at 45.321. That will put him in 11th out of 13 cars.
Not a good time at all.
Yeah, so definitely got some work to do in the duels for that 24 car. Lulu Connie is up next in the number 42, Masters in Toyota, driving for her own race team. This team only bringing 2 cars this season. They've switched to Toyotas and aligned themselves with Pacific Racing. Lulu has had a troubled past with this race. She finished last in the event in 2022 and has DNQ'd the last 2 years.
Delma.
Yeah, this is a Delma Cowart throwback, and those of you who remember this race last year might remember JC Kreider driving this paint scheme, albeit in a number 44 car, but Masters in is back for this race. Gonna try and see if they can get this car into the race. I mean, Connie Twins Motorsports entered 4 cars into this race last year, and only one of them ended up making it. And hoping to maybe find some more pace this time around, especially for Lulu, because she definitely needs a good run in this race.
And Lulu is a very likable driver. She's a fan favorite, maybe.
She's
definitely an underdog.
She's won 2 races. She won Texas in season 2 and Phoenix in season 3, and a very good finish with Rebecca Raymond. Been a bit of a struggle this season, although last race at Iowa, she had a pretty outstanding performance with Action Racing.
Oh yeah, the 5 team?
Yeah, the 5 car.
All right. Yeah, there's still definitely talent there. Just the equipment might be holding her back. But gotta hold up the family team, I guess.
Oh boy. Oh no.
Oh, that is... Oh no.
That's not a good warm-up lap. She's gonna hit 201 entering turn number 1. This car definitely is it's definitely going about as fast as the paint scheme would imply. 195 down the back. This could be our slowest time yet.
Oh dearie me.
Which is bad news for Lulu Connie. 192. Yeah, there's just no pace at all for this 42 car.
This thing is cooked.
This is hard to watch. Across the line, 45.444. She actually tied Zach Dearman. The tiebreaker will go to Dearman based on owner points. So 13th out of the 14 cars. And here's one of the track favorites for sure. Coming up next, Andrew Kreider, the driver from Ocala, Florida, not too far away from Daytona. Their race shop is also located there. and he's been around since season number 2, running his owner driver operation, and he's been pretty fast in this race in the past. Although last year's race ended in an accident, but the year before, I believe he finished in the top 5. So Andrew Kreider has got to be very excited for this race and hoping that he can get a good finish.
Yeah, probably excited every time he goes to this racetrack. It means so much to him, being from the Central Florida area and being a couple hours away from Daytona.
This 70 car is 25th in owner points, so I mean, if things go really bad, there's a chance he could fall back on a points provisional, but I'm sure Kreider would rather not risk that. So getting a good starting
Yeah.
spot for that duo race is going to be crucial for him. We'll see what the Freight Auctions Ford can do in single car quali.
I mean, if that car wins pole, whole crowd's gonna go wild.
44.863 is the time to beat, and nobody's even come within a tenth of Charlie McCarron so far. But we'll see if Kreider can manage to pull off an upset here. We've already seen one upset so far. Damon Kirby's still sitting second on the timesheet.
When did Kreider get sponsorship?
He has a few sponsors. Ooh.
Yeah, I know. He usually has UCF. Ooh.
Yeah, UCF is on the 78 in this race. JC Kreider is attempting this race. This warm-up lap's not looking too great.
Yeah, 202. 196 down the backstretch.
Decent down the back straightaway. Not crazy, but decent.
Yeah.
This is looking like somewhere like a mid-pack start.
Well,
if it were to hold, he's not doing too great through 3 and 4 though. We'll see if he can maybe get some help off the corner.
Pick it up in the tri-oval. 199, 200.
Got to 200 across the line. 45.199. Yep. That'll put him 9th out of 15 cars.
So yeah, right around mid-pack.
Yeah, not a terrible lap there for Kreider. Maybe wanting a little bit more, but he out-qualified a couple of good cars, so that's definitely not a terrible outing for the home driver. Shauna Everett is now on the track, and this will be the last lap that we'll have Anthony in the booth for. Thank you, Anthony, for coming up and joining us, and I'm sure you'll be excited to go ahead and call the rest of the festivities after qualifying is over.
Yeah, after a couple of technical difficulties, I got into a rhythm, and I'm just happy to be here.
Yeah, we've had no shortage of technical difficulties, first on Anthony's end, and the game also keeps crashing in between laps, but I kind of expected some of that to happen because that's just how it is with single car quali, but it's been happening really frequently and it's very distracting. Anyway, Shauna Everett in the number 57. This is the second Blake Everett car to go out. Ashley Blake is currently 10th out of 15 on the timesheet. So Shauna Everett's definitely looking to beat her time, which was a 45.232.
Speaking of technical difficulties...
Yeah, this team has had a lot of them, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. We went over Ashley Blake's bad luck. Shauna Everett had the bad luck bug in the first few races of the year. She's gotten it sort of turned around. This car is 26th in owner points. She's 28th in points, which is not great. Definitely her worst season yet. But she was down where Ashley Blake was at the start of the year. They've kind of swapped spots now in the points, but we'll see what the Pennzoil car has here. I mean, it can't go much worse than the Indy 500 Pennzoil car, right?
No.
I mean, I guess she could D&Q. I guess that would be worse. Because at least McLaughlin started the race. Well, kind of. Ooh, hold on.
That's a really good first lap. Hold on.
The warm-up lap's looking pretty good, but she's not carrying much speed into turn 1. She barely got to 201.
Maybe she's trying the consistent strategy, hopefully?
196 on the exit of
Yeah.
2. Not too bad. She's getting up to 197.
Gaining
This is looking
speed.
like a pretty solid lap. She's still gaining time. You know, this is looking a lot like the 13's lap. I'm not saying it's going to be that fast, but it's looking pretty good.
85 too.
Losing speed, though, out of turn number 4, but she's going to gain it back here down the front straightaway. Let's see what Shauna Everett's got here across the line.
Gotta get it up to 200.
45.037. Wow. That's going to be
bad.
4th on the board for Shauna Everett. It's not a 200-mile-an-hour lap, but I'm sure she'll definitely take that.
She'll love that.
Definitely a very, very solid lap there out of Shauna Everett. That's going to put her in the top quarter of the field.
That's the kind of motivation you need to keep going.
Next up on the track, number 66 of Tyler Landry. We've got a new driver on the track, and we've got a new person in the booth. Hello, Darian. Welcome to the qualifying booth. What have you noticed throughout our first 16 drivers so far?
I've noticed a lot, mainly the fact that the warm-up lap doesn't seem to be a great indicator for the most part, if I'm not mistaken. Because I remember, I think on Lake and Herndon's lap, the out lap was one of the slowest we have seen, but they managed to maintain and come away with, as of right now, a 7th place starting spot after 16 cars. Charlie McCarran looks to be the car to beat. I have a feeling we might 1 or 2 go faster than that, but her time of 44.86 is really, really good so far.
Yeah, and of course, this is the first time we've seen a restricted stock car hit 200 on a single car lap since ever. So this has been a very exciting qualifying session for that reason as well. And Tyler Landry is now on the track. He is the second McPicky Motorsports car to go. The first one to qualify was Corbin Taps, and he currently sits 3rd. So are we expecting some similar speed from Landry here?
I feel like most definitely, because Tyler Landry has proven time and time again that he is one of the best in the LSCI. And I really feel like that 66 and just McPicky Motorsports in general, they have proven that they can have incredible speed here at Daytona in qualifying so far.
Yeah, Landry is 12th in points. He has 1 win on the year, which was at Homestead. And the warm-up lap, 51.405, pretty solid. Not one of the best that we've seen, but again, like you said, the warm-up lap doesn't always indicate how the lap's going to go. Although, not the fastest turn 1 that we've seen either, but I think this backstretch is going to be crucial, and he's starting to gain some time down the back. 197, 198. This could be a pretty good lap here for Tyler Landry if he can hit 200 entering 3. Didn't quite get it.
Not quite.
But this is looking like a top 5 time for Tyler Landry if he can keep this momentum going.
Very, very quick lap coming out of turn 4, 197, 198. Can he get to 200, 199? 200 he does.
He's
Lap time
done
40.
a 200 mile an hour lap, the 3rd one of the night. That's going to put him into 2nd.
P2, Tyler Landry, what a lap for the 66 car for McPicky Motorsports. Gotta love to see it for that Camping World team.
Next up is the number 2 car of Rhea Wickham, driving for Martin Swain Race Team. This is Rhea's first attempt at the Lumen 500.
Very interesting to see how a rookie's going to get along here in single car qualifying, because obviously we don't have something like this anywhere else on the schedule for the most part. Very different way to get your field position, and even then, this isn't for field position. This is for dual position more than anything.
Rhea Wickham has run a plate race in the past in the LCI Cup Series back in Season 2. I was driving for Action Racing, and she actually finished in the top 10 in that race. We'll see if the 2 car has the same speed as the McPicky cars. They have a bit of a technical alliance with that team. They're not getting the same equipment that they're getting, but they are sharing some notes. So we'll see if that maybe comes into play in this qualifying lap.
I mean, if it's anything like Tyler Landry or Corbin Taps, that 2 car should be way up at the timing sheets.
This 2-car
And I'm just now
the 2-car has struggled for
just not looking
speed.
back.
Sorry, you go first.
I'm looking back at the timing sheets. I'm just not looking at Tyler Landry's lap. He's still over half a mile an hour off of Charlie McCarron. Like that 85 car is just on a different plane right now.
Yeah, the 2-car's been struggling for speed this season, except at the road course when they put the road course ringer Peter Jansen in, and it got a top 10. Warm-up lap, not too bad for Rhea Whitcomb. But she's not even going to get 200 going into turn 1, and just about everybody's been able to do that.
That is not a good sign, I think, for Rhea Whitcomb.
195 on the exit of the corner. She is gaining speed down the backstretch, so she could salvage a little bit of something. But definitely not going to be a top time. Probably not as fast as Landry or Taps, but we'll see if she can maybe salvage something here.
I might be a bit surprised if this is in the top 10 right now. This is not looking great. Only 195 out of 4 coming to the checkered flag. It's going to be 45-28.
That's 13th quickest out of the 18 that have gone.
That is not great.
Definitely not great. Not ideal for Rhea Whitcomb. And this car is pretty far down in the owner points as well. So Rhea is probably going to have to rely on the duels here. Jake Sidney up next for Hudson Motorsports, the rookie at Hudson Motorsports. And, you know, it's kind of expected that he'd be kind of the third wheel at that team, being in his rookie year and all. He's had a couple of good runs recently, though, at Iowa and at Hillside. So, you know, maybe he's starting to turn it around here. He's starting to figure it out. He's been catching James Harvin in the Rookie of the Year standings. However, the last Hudson Motorsports car to go out, Zach Dearman, was 16th out of 18 cars, so not very fast. So definitely Sydney's going to be looking for considerable improvement.
Yeah, most definitely. I feel like Sydney's the type of guy who can do it. He has proven himself on the big tracks. I mean, I know it's not the same, but he won back at Auto Club last season when I was in the booth with you. So I hold Sydney in quite high regards, especially at a track like this.
Yeah, he did get that LSCI win in the season finale last year. That was a very strange race in general because you know, a lot of the top drivers were maybe sandbagging that race because the championship was out of reach. But regardless, Jake Sidney did a great job in that race, and he's been doing a pretty good job this season. He hasn't lit the world on fire or anything, but he's done what he needs to do in his rookie season. He's definitely proving to be a capable driver in the top series here.
And most definitely, I mean, like I said, he has been on my radar for the last season or two. He has been fantastic, just in general, in the amateur series and in Cup. Like I said, he is one of the drivers I would count to be the future of the LSCI.
Not a bad warm-up lap, 51.335, entering 203 going into turn number 1, and he's holding 203 for quite a bit. This could be a pretty fast lap if he could keep the car under him. 197, 196, back up to 197. This is looking pretty good here for Jake Sidney, but he's not gaining a whole bunch else on the backstretch. So probably
he held 203 for so long. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, probably not going to compete with McCarron, but maybe could have a shot at a sub 45 here. 198, 199, 200, 201, and he did it. 44.969, and that's our fourth 200-mile-an-hour lap. That's going to put him second out of 19. So that will bump Landry from the front row.
What did I say about Jake Sidney, Brennan? My goodness, look at that.
You've been nailing it so far with who we think is going to be fast. It was holding 203 for so long, I think, that got him that fast lap, and just excellent execution by the 19 crew.
Overall speed on that lap, 200.138, still half a mile an hour off of Charlie McCarron's lap.
Yeah, I said it after it happened. I think that might be a front row lap, and it's going to be very hard to beat it. Next up on the grid is the number 33 Double Eagle Racing Ford, driven by Cheryl Simmons, and this is the first race back for Simmons in the Cup Series since the accident at Auto Club in the season finale last year. That took her out for several months. And, it's always great to see this driver and team pairing at Daytona because they've done a lot of incredible things with so little. This might be their biggest challenge yet, though, Darian. I don't know. How are you feeling about Cheryl and this team?
I mean, obviously, I have a lot of support for Cheryl Simmons being in attendance for the Auto Club last season when she had her accident. So I would love to see her do really well, get herself in the top 10 here so far. But I have a weird feeling right now that I don't think that 33 is going to be too up to snuff for single car quality.
Yeah, Double Eagle Racing, probably the most underfunded team in the garage area. They're go or go home for this race. They've only made one start this year. They've made two attempts, but they've only made one start, and that was with Wesley Shelton at Coda. Um, not really known for their raw pace for sure, but you never know. Cheryl Simmons has done some magical things for this team before, and we've doubted her and doubted her and doubted her. She took a wrecked car in Duel 2 last year into a transfer spot, so maybe setting herself up for the duel more than the single car quality, but maybe she can get something going here.
I feel like if you're someone like a Cheryl Simmons where you know that your single car pace might not be that great, as the first lap comes in here 51.564, I believe I'm
It's
reading
not
that
terrible.
correctly.
That's not terrible. And this chassis that they're racing here was provided to them by Blake Everett Motorsports, so they've got a bit of a better chassis than they're used to, but 195, 196 down the back's definitely not going to cut it for Cheryl Simmons.
And I was about to say, if they're getting that chassis from Blake Everett, do you really think it's that much better?
I mean, the Blake Everett car, Shauna Everett had a pretty good lap, so it has potential. I think the Blake Everett cars are better than where they're running. I think they just have terrible luck, but Cheryl Simmons coming around here, and her first time in a Cup car since the accident is going to be a 45.243. That is going to be 14th fastest out of 20. So she beat a few cars, but yeah, she's definitely going to have to pull some more Cheryl Simmons magic in the duels. Next up on the grid, number 55, Michael Harvin, driving for Motor Racing Ventures. And this is the second MRV car to go out on the racetrack. Adrian Wheeler was the third one out, and he currently sits 8th out of 20 on the timesheet with a time of 45.105. So I can imagine for Michael Harvin, that's probably the goal time.
Yeah, you got to think you always want to beat your teammate, especially in a single car qualifying sense. But as long as you can at least stay in that top 10 area for right now, I feel like you're doing okay. Just try and get a lap time around a 45.10, you know?
Yeah, and that's about where Adrian is. So Michael Harvin, he has not had a good season for sure. He's DNQ'd twice. He's only had one top 5, which is also his only top 10 of the year. That was at Homestead. He and his brother James Harvin both got top 5s in that race. But he is 29th in points and 30th in owner points. So this car is actually in pretty big danger of missing the race if they don't execute well, either in qualifying or in the duels.
Yeah, like once you get around that 30th place area in points, that's when you really need to worry coming into this race because you got to think there's a lot of people coming into this race who are only running this race. So you're going to have a lot more competition for those points provisionals, I feel like, because there's a lot bigger chance of someone who doesn't have any of those points just throwing you out the water in qualifying or the duels.
Michael Harvin is flying on this warm-up lap. He's almost going to get to 200 before it even happens. Look at that time! Holy moly!
Oh my God.
50.93 on the warm-up lap. This might be a lap we need to watch. He hit 202 going into turn number 1. Oh, he's losing speed in turn 2, though. We'll see. We'll see if he can hold it, though. He stays at 197. Oh my goodness. Michael Harvin is absolutely flying around the track right now. He's hit 200 already. Can he get to 201? Not quite. But this could rival Charlie McCarron's lap for sure if he could just finish out the lap. This is a spectacular showing from Michael Harvin. 198, 199, 200, 201, 44, 802. He's put it on pole.
He's done it! Oh my goodness! How you did that? Unbelievable out of Michael Harvin! That was probably one of the last drivers I expected to rival Charlie McCarron, and he's gone out there and put up one of the fastest times you'll ever see in qualifying. Overall speed, 200.884. He's 0.2 of a mile an hour faster than Charlie McCarron was.
He almost hit 201. That's incredible. What a
You were saying about Charlie McCarron putting on pole. Now we're looking at Michael Harvin from out of nowhere. He might just be the favorite to sit on the pole for Lumen 500 now.
That is going to be a very, very tough time to beat for sure. I'll be shocked if anyone beats that. That is, I'm flabbergasted at that lap. That was unbelievable. And next up on the racetrack is our defending champion, the number 1 car of Kevin DuPont. And because he is our most recent champion, he is guaranteed a spot into the field along with the top 5 in points, and most of those drivers have already gone. But DuPont is still important to this battle for the lower drivers in points, because if he can race his way in and not have to take the provisional, as well as the other past champions like Jack Gino and Jacob Lopez, who have not gone yet, then that would be good news for one of them, because one of their qualifying times is going to get them in.
Kevin DuPont, tough act to follow after that lap from Michael Harvin, but you can never count out the reigning champion when it comes to anything in any sport, especially in motorsports. We'll see the green flag for the warm-up lap for Kevin DuPont. This should be a fun one.
And this is the second Walker Brothers racing car. The other one is sitting second right now, and if they can keep that speed between cars, then this is going to be a great lap for DuPont. But we've seen times where that's been the case, where all the teammates have been near each other, like with the Columbia Motorsports cars, and then we've also seen things like the Hudson Motorsports cars, where they're very distant from each other. So there's definitely some teams where they're kind of sharing the same setup, and some where they're really kind of letting each individual crew do their own thing.
Yeah, it definitely seems to be case-by-case basis here as we come out of turn 4, carrying 196 miles an hour. It's a very weird thing here.
That's another really good warm-up lap. Oh boy, 51.1.
Uh-oh.
He's 201.
Could we have back-to-back huge times here at Daytona? 197 coming out, 196, but gets it right back up. 197.
He's getting speed a little bit better than
flying.
the 55 was, but he didn't have more speed on the first part of the lap. He's hit 200. This is looking very similar to his teammates' lap. We'll see where he comes out here. How does he finish the lap? He's looking probably at a 200-mile-an-hour lap here, but we'll see if it's better or worse than McCarron. He's going to hit 200 getting into the tri-oval. 44.877. It's just behind McCarron. He's going to be P3.
Good Lord, what did they put in those cars?
The Walker Brothers cars are proving to be very fast in single car quali. That's for sure. And we've got one more left much later in the session, Darren Walker himself. But, I mean, 2 out of 3 up there in the top 3 right now. If you're the crew that's been putting those setups together, you're probably pretty proud of yourself right now. Next up, the first of the Pacific Racing cars to go. It's the number 92 car of Kate Summers. And Pacific Racing has struggled as a whole this season. Not been the best seasons for them. Their highest up car in points is Vinnie Scholes in 22nd. Kate is 26th in points, but she had a good run last week at Iowa. Got her first top 5 of the year. And I'm not really sure what kind of pace to expect from the Pacific cars here in single car quali.
Like I've mentioned, it's a much different beast than what we're used to for qualifying for Lumen 500. And especially when you've got a team that's been struggling, like a Pacific Racing, it's going to be intriguing to say the least to see how Kate Summers will do. And she'll have a teammate coming right after her, Trevor Stewart, up next in the 32 car.
Yeah, it's going to be 2 Pacific Racing cars and then the last 2 Patriot Racing cars back to back. So an interesting stretch of cars coming up. But we'll see what the 2-time most popular driver and 3-time race winner can do. I mean, she's gotten all of Pacific Racing's wins in LSCI, so she's been their best driver in that metric, but she's been significantly less consistent than Vinnie Scholes has over that time. But yeah, we'll see what happens here on this qualifying lap for the 92 car.
Not tracking that well through 3 and 4 from what I can tell, only just now getting up to 190 miles an hour.
Although the bar is definitely raised a lot higher after the last 2 laps that we saw.
Most definitely.
I mean, 51.49, that's about average for a warm-up lap there, but she's getting to 202 going into turn number 1, so that's pretty good speed into that corner.
She's carrying it quite well as well, down to 197, now 196.
Ooh.
Uh-oh.
Not the greatest
That went
turn
way
2
down.
there. Tracking 196
Needs to
down
carry
the
some
back.
speed back up. Not gaining anything either. I think that might not be a good sign for Kate Summers. Rounding 3 and 4 here. 194 through 3 and 4. Now 193. Going to have to get a big exit here heading to the checkered
Not
flag
a bad turn
for
4,
Kate
but
Summers.
nothing crazy here for sure. 45.202, that will put her 15th out of 23 cars.
Yeah, not exactly much to write home about for Kate Summers on that one.
Yeah, that's probably another driver that's going to have to make her way through the duels to try and qualify into the race. Next up, we've got a series veteran, Trevor Stewart, attempting his 1 race of the year, the Lumen 500, for the 3rd year in a row, in another one of the Pacific Racing cars in a beautiful tide ride. He showed a lot of pace in the Lumen 500 last year before getting taken out in the big one. Do we think Stewart can replicate that pace here this year?
It's going to be very intriguing to see because, I mean, if you've been practicing all year just for this one race, you'd have to think you can at least come into this with a sense of thinking you will be quite good, but it's a very different LSCI now than it was 1 year ago, and it's going to be very interesting to see if Trevor Stewart can adapt to that.
Yeah. Trevor Stewart ran the full season in season 1, although calling it a full season is generous because it was only 16 races. But that was a full season. So, and ever since then, he's been a Lumen 500 only driver. And we don't know if this is going to be his last one or not. We kind of thought last year might have been his last one, and now he's come back again this year. So, not entirely sure what his plans for the future are, but he's going to try and get the 32 into this race. This is another go or go home car. So no matter what, he's going to have to qualify in. He can't take a points provisional because the car is too low down in owner points, no matter what crazy set of circumstances happens.
Yeah, I mean, especially like the 32 car, if I'm not mistaken, has been quite poor performing this year like we said with Pacific Racing in general, they've been not that great, but the 32, especially from what I recall, has been struggling quite heavily as a
It
rounding turn 4 to get the start of the main lap.
has had one decent run with Paula Sisiqua back at Phoenix, but other than that, it has been lacking in pace, and this looks like it's no different. 51.76 on his opening lap here. Oh man, 198 going into turn 1. That is not good.
Joanna Clark might have a run for her money for slowest time. I'm not going to lie to you.
I would not be surprised either. He got down to 194 exiting 2.
Yeah, this is not looking
gaining
great.
speed down the back
197.
to try and maybe salvage not being last, but he only got up to 197 there at the end. This is
Yeah,
not going to
I
be...
think Trevor Stewart might be cooked here, coming to the checkered flag, 195, gaining a bit of speed, but it's going to be too little too late. Coming to the line, what's it going to be?
45.469.
45.469. That is slower.
That is the slowest time that we've seen.
5/1000 of a second slower. That is...
You don't need me to tell you that this car is going to need a lot of work done to it before the duels. Next up, it's the defending race winner of the Lumen 500. It's Billy Smith in the number 88, and it was a very impressive race win that he had last year for Patriot Racing Inc. Driving the third part-time car at the time, he eventually subbed in for Montana Sherman later in the season, so he's not eligible for Rookie of the Year because he ran more than half the schedule, but regardless, this is his first full season. And you know, if they brought the setup from last year, that car is going to be pretty good in the race. But we'll see if it has any quality pace.
Yeah, most definitely. I mean, obviously you can't detract from what Billy Smith did last year. That was insanely impressive. They could very easily have the speed here today. Um, Last week was not a great showing for Billy Smith, but I'm going to try and keep that to myself. I think I put everything out on the line last week quite well, you know. That's the past, this is the present. We got qualifying for the Lumen 500.
Yeah, he's still got a few things to learn, but you know, he's been a solid driver this year. He's top 10 in points. He is 10th in points, but you know, aside from a couple of lackluster runs, he's been doing a solid job in the Patriot Racing car, and we have seen a Patriot Racing car out on the track already. Isabella Fitzmaurice currently sits 12th out of 24, so right in the middle of the charts. So Billy Smith's probably going to be going after a 45.132 in terms of his lap time that he wants to try and post here, but we'll see. We'll see what kind of pace this car has, and he's looking pretty fast off of turn 4. This warm-up lap could be pretty good for him.
We'll see it at the line here. It's going to say a 51.389. Fairly
That's
good.
pretty solid. Pretty solid.
I mean, you got to think he wants to do better than Fitzmaurice, considering that 01 car is the third car. You got to think, driving the flagship 88, you got to think he is going for it on this lap, especially.
This is Billy Smith's third attempt at the Lumen 500. The first year he tried it, he didn't make the race. Second year he won. So who knows? Oh, he briefly touched 200 going into turn number 3. He's looking very consistent over the second half of the lap, so this could be a pretty good lap time here for Billy Smith. Coming out of turn number 4, 198 already. And we'll see what he gets across the line. 44.943. He's going to go over 200. That is going to be 4th on the board.
Yep, put him P4. He's ahead of Jake Sidney. That is a fantastic lap out of Billy Smith, putting the path behind him. And he has proven why he is one of the best at the big tracks. Incredible lap for the Patriot Racing Incorporated car.
Next up, the last of the Patriot Racing cars. It's George Bryan in the number 3. He's the oldest full-time driver in the field, but of course, since Montana Sherman's in the race, he's not the oldest driver in the race. And it's been an interesting season for Bryan. He's 7th in points. He has 3 top 5s, and despite that, he hasn't really been up front competing for wins that much. But he has been putting together some pretty good runs in this car. So not to take away from his season or anything, it's just maybe after last season, we kind of expected him to be a little bit more of a contender. But you know, he still had some solid runs for sure.
Yeah, no, last season was absolutely incredible for George Bryan. If I'm not mistaken, he got 3 wins last year
He got
for
2
his own
wins.
car. 2 wins, okay. Well, I was close then. But yeah, I mean, George Bryan has proven time and time again he is definitely one of the better drivers in the field, and I am very excited to see what he can do here on this lap.
It's kind of late bloom for his career has been very fun to watch for sure. Driving for one of the better teams on the grid. He signed a 2-year deal, so he's going to be here for a couple of seasons, and yeah, I'm interested to see what George Bryan has in store. Again, like we mentioned, this is the team that won this race last year, and they've already proven that they have some single car pace. Billy Smith put together a pretty good lap just before he did, so you gotta imagine George Bryan's thinking that he's gonna try and match it.
He's definitely going to try it at the very least. You never want to be behind your teammates, especially in qualifying for the biggest race of the year. Getting up to 196, he is going along a little bit here. 51.647. That's pretty slow on the opening lap, and he's
He
not even
didn't
going to
even
get
get.
200 here.
Yeah, this isn't looking as good as Billy
Uh
Smith, that's for
oh.
sure. Thankfully for Bryan, being 7th in points means unless something really crazy happens, he's gonna be in the race. But 197 going down the backstretch. This is looking a little bit closer to Fitzmaurice's time than it is Billy Smith's time. But we'll see. We'll
Yeah,
see
I'm
what he can
looking
do.
around that 17th place. I'm looking around that 17th place area. Ashley Blake is at out of turn 4, coming to the line, up to 197. He'll touch 198, maybe 199. Lap time will be 45.305.
45,305. That's behind Montana
Oh,
Sherman,
God.
21st out of 26. That is a surprisingly slow time from George Bryan.
I was not expecting that. Like I said, I was looking Ashley Blake. First 45.232. That is 8/100ths off of that. That is not good by any means for the 3-car Brian.
He's not he's not really in danger of missing the race or anything, but it's definitely a confidence deflator for this 3 team, especially seeing how fast the 88 and even the 01 were in their laps. Next up, Jack Gino, the last of the Hudson Motorsports cars, your season 1 champion. And he's 6th in points right now, so like George Bryan, he doesn't really have to worry about DQing the race, especially since he does have the past champions provisional that he could use in the unlikely event that he gets bumped. Uh, it's been an interesting season for Gino. He finally escaped Diamond Motorsports and ended up on a significantly better team. He's won a race this year. He's definitely been one of the faster drivers this season, but he's had a bit of inconsistency in how fast he's been because there's been some races where he just hasn't shown up at all.
Yeah, it's been a very weird season for Jack Gino, like you said. And it's even weirder for him going into qualifying because his teammates are in such weird spots on the grid. Jake Sidney absolutely flew, and then Zach Dearman kind of stunk. So this is going to be very interesting to see how the former champion will get along here in qualifying.
Yeah, if we're using teammates as reference points for these guys, it's useless for the Hudson car here because Sydney and Dearman's laps were so different. So I'd imagine that Gino's got a completely different setup on his car than these other two also. So it'll be interesting to see what kind of speed Gino has. Gino's a very good driver, obviously. He's one of the best that we've got. But you know, the driver can only do so much in Daytona qualifying. It really is mostly about how you set up the race car.
Yeah, most definitely. I mean, you want proof of that, just look at Connor Daly, I think back in 2023 for the Daytona 500. I believe that car was bouncing like a trampoline, if I'm not mistaken, in qualifying. So it very much
Pretty
depends on who you got. Oh, he's
pretty
going pretty quick here,
average.
too.
Oh, but 203, 202, that was weird. He got down to 202 and then back to 203 in turn 1. Maybe a bit of a bobble going into turn 1 there. His uh warm-up lap was pretty average and he's holding 196 going down the back, so I'd imagine this lap time is going to land somewhere between his teammates. I know that that's a pretty obvious
I'm
statement to say, but
I'm thinking probably around 13th with Fitzmaurice. We'll see here out of turn 4.
I'm
Gonna get
thinking
a bit of speed heading towards home.
pretty
And
fast
it's
on the
gonna
end of the lap.
be. Oh my!
45,087. That's going to put him in 11th out of 27.
Hey, not bad at all.
Definitely not bad. Not a bad lap there from the 81, and he's closer to Sydney than he was to Dearman, so that's definitely good. But
That was probably the goal, I'd assume, after seeing how Dearman went out.
definitely, yeah. But we are more than halfway through this qualifying session. We're almost at the end of the second group. We've got 4 more cars to go in that group, and then we'll have our third co-commentator come up here and join us. But Jack Gino, 11th. Next up, it's JC Kreider in her third attempt at making the Lumen 500. Her previous 2 attempts were futile, and she DNQ'd both times. Only one LSCI start to her name. That was at Homestead in Season 2. She really only runs the Florida races in this second Streamline Racing car. But we'll see if JC has enough to try and make the race here this year. Being the wife of Andrew Kreider, they are the only husband and wife duo to start the same LSCI race.
Very fun statistic that is. I'm personally not too. I don't know much about JC Kreider, so this is new to me. As obviously, I have never called a race with her in it. She is very sporadic when it comes to her starts, mainly coming in the state of Florida. So, very fun to see her work here at Daytona.
Yeah, I guess you could consider her a Lumen 500 only driver like Trevor Stewart. Uh, she's mostly in the managerial role at Streamline Racing. She doesn't really drive the car that much, but she always makes sure that she attempts to make this race. And I think it's really cool that we have this kind of dynamic here, even if JC hasn't had very much success so far. But it's great to see her in the field regardless.
Most definitely. She coming around turn 4 right now to start the main qualifying lap, carrying a decent bit of speed here. Gonna get up to 198 by the time she starts the lap. 51.587, about the same as Jack Gino's was last time around, and she'll get up to
going into
202.
turn 1. Can she hold that speed? That's not as fast
Uh-oh.
as Gino, but Gino held the speed a little bit better, and Tracy Kreider is
Oh,
going to drop
oh
down to
no.
195. She's picking up a bit of pace down the back, but this isn't looking too great for JC Kreider. She's probably going to have to go through the duels as well.
This
Andrew
is not
Kreider's lap
looking great
time.
through 3 and 4.
Andrew Kreider's lap time was a 45.199. We'll see where JC lands in comparison to that. Coming across the line right at 200, it's a 45.259. That'll put her in 20th out of 28.
Yeah, kind of to be expected. I don't think anyone expected her to be that quick comparatively to some of the big cars, but decent enough start for her. She's going to have to go through the duels regardless, but
She's
good to see her
she's
in
only
Lumen 500.
she's only a couple spots behind her husband. I think that's a pretty good. That's not too bad for her.
Only about 6/100 off. You can't complain that much. The two cars are highly similar, so it just goes to show how compact the field is right now.
And now, Tim Berry, the points leader, is up. He's got a 42-point lead, almost a full race. He led the points most of last year as well. Tim Berry, without a doubt, one of the best drivers in LSCI, probably the best one that hasn't won a championship yet. And the McPickey cars have been pretty fast. They are 6th and 8th. They've kind of been eclipsed by the Walker Brothers Racing cars and Billy Smith and, of course, Michael Harvin by now, but definitely still a lot of pace in these cars, and I'd expect a good time here from Tim Berry.
I feel like if you're Tim Berry, it's 200 or bust on this run. Like, you have to show why you're the points leader here, especially when someone who's outside the top 25, down 30th in points, Michael Harvin, is currently killing the field right now. Like, it is just unbelievable the differences between Harvin and McCarron. And now we have Berry coming up. This is what a lot of people coming into the race I thought would predict to win the pole for the Lumen 500.
Yeah, the other two McPicky cars, 44982 and 45029, 6th and 8th right now. And that would be a good benchmark there for Tim Berry. And he won a race earlier this year at, gosh, where did he win? I don't even remember. Whatever race number 6 was, I think. Auto Club. He won that race. His worst finish this year is 13th. And that's a pretty good result for your worst race of the year. He started off the year with 7 straight top 10s, and look at the speed that he's carrying. 51.4. That was a little slower than I expected, considering how much speed he was carrying off the corner, but he's going 204 into turn 1. That's the first time we've seen that all day. Oh boy, the field is quaking in their boots right now.
Oh my god.
197 out of the corner. He's not gaining that much down the back, but he's holding speed pretty good. This is going to be a pretty fast time. But he did not gain that much speed down the back, and that might kill his lap here in terms of having a shot at the pole.
Yeah, I was going to say Harvin carried a lot better speed down the back as we're coming up to the checkered flag. This is a big one here. He's already up to 200, 201, maybe 202. What's it going to be?
44.878, fourth fastest for Tim Berry, 1/1000th of a second behind DuPont.
Oh my goodness gracious. That was close. If he just had a bit more speed out of turn 2, he might have had an average speed 200.544 miles an hour is good for fourth. And that is, I wouldn't say heartbreaking because that's over 200 and a half, but he was carrying so much speed into turn 1.
Yeah, he was the only one to hit 204 entering the corner, but the backstretch, he just did not get enough speed down there, and that ultimately kept him from getting the pole. Still a great lap regardless for Tim Berry, your points leader. And that is our 8th 200-mile-an-hour qualifying lap of the night. Next up is JT Boyd for NH Motorsports, the first NH Motorsports car to go out today. And I'm not really sure what to expect from the NH Motorsports team. They've been kind of all over the place this season. Not really much race-winning pace out of JT Boyd this year, but he's been pretty consistent. He's 9th in points, and it hasn't been a bad season for him regardless. But I think the standard for him was set so high after his Rookie of the Year campaign last year.
Yeah, most definitely. I mean, after, I believe, last season was his rookie year, if I'm not mistaken, right?
It was.
So him winning at Oregon to kick off his Cup career, that just shot him up the board for so many people, I think, in this league. And I definitely think he could be one to watch here at Daytona.
The 77 team almost won this race with Holly Martin in Season 2. They led 22 of the 50 laps, but came up one spot short. So that team definitely looking for maybe some redemption in that sense. But it's been a weird year for NH Motorsports. I mean, it's been a pretty typical NH Motorsports year, but with the 77 doing pretty good and the 27 doing not as good. But I don't know. I'm not quite sure what kind of pace they're gonna have in qualifying here. I mean, we could compare them to some of the other Toyotas. The Columbia Motorsports cars right now are 11th, 14th, and 16th, and then the Pacific Racing cars weren't all that fast either. So I mean, I don't think we have a single Toyota inside the top 10 right now. So I don't know. Not looking great for the Toyotas so far. About an average warm-up lap there for JT Boyd, but carrying quite a bit of speed into turn 1.
Yeah, up to 202, heading around through turns 1 and 2, down to 198, 197. At least keep it above 196. He's going to keep it there, it seems. I don't know if he'll get that much more. That might not be great for his lap.
Yeah, this is looking like a pretty pedestrian lap here for JT Boyd. Nothing too flashy. See what he ends up getting when he finishes this lap.
Carrying a bit more, heading out down to the tri-oval. Coming to the checkered flag, JT Boyd. 45,166 out. 16th place ahead of Akira Tajima.
That's out of 30, and yeah, that was pretty average all around for JT Boyd. Definitely not bad, but maybe want a little bit more out of the car there. And the last driver of our second group, the last one where we'll have Darian up in the booth here, is going to be the 12 car of Gianni McJasmina. Thank you again, Darian, for coming up in the booth and joining me. It's always nice having you here, and we'll make sure to get you on for another race here soon.
It's always a lot of fun when I can join you up in the booth, Brendan. I love commentating, as you know, and it's so much fun being here. And now, Gianni McJasmina,
Yeah.
tongue twister name right there, Gianni McJasmina, a rookie, I believe, in the 12th car. So I don't know much about her.
Yeah, she's come over here from Osco, another NR series. She's running a part-time schedule for Pacific Racing here, running their 4th car for this race. Not much to go off of. She's had a couple of starts this season. Her best finish is 19th, which was at Rockingham, and this is her first attempt at making the Lumen 500. And the best Pacific car so far is currently 19th with a 45.202. I imagine McJasmine is going to want to beat that time, especially considering her car has no owner points at all.
Look, I feel like the main goal at least beat Trevor Stewart.
That's the lowest bar you could possibly set.
I mean, yes, but we said that about Trevor Stewart with Joanna Clark, so.
Well, it's looking like a little bit faster than Trevor Stewart on the warm-up lap, so we'll see what time she gets here across the line. 51.668, not great, but again, better than the 32. Hitting 202 into turn 1, though, and she carried it for a decent amount around the corner. But down to 195 on the back straightaway, and that's definitely not tracking good for her. And the Pacific cars continue to struggle. She does get it up to 196 before she gets to turn 3. But not looking like a great lap here for McJasmina.
Yeah, no, this is not great for the 12 team for Pacific Racing. So coming up to the checkered flag, to end group number 2, Gianni McJasmina. It's going to be a 45.280.
She's
ties Rhea Whitcomb for 23rd.
And Whitcomb's going to win that tiebreaker because the 12 doesn't have any owner points. So that'll put her 24th out of 31, which is not good.
Yeah, that is not a great look for Pacific Racing. They have one car left with Vinny Scholes, but that is not a great start for them.
Hey, you know what? If you
yeah, thank you again for letting me be here. This has been a lot of fun calling qualifying with you.
Yeah, great to have you up here. I do want to mention, though, if you want any last bullet in your arsenal, last year's pole sitter is a pretty good one to have.
Most definitely. Most definitely.
And here we are to kick off the 3rd group of qualifiers. Lori Jackson driving the checkered flag racing number 9. And once again, we've got a different person in the booth now. Caleb Rose has joined us for the last 15 qualifiers. And Caleb, you weren't here for most of the qualifying, but judging by the timesheet, what are you expecting out of this 3rd group?
Definitely expecting there's some pretty heavy hitters in this one. There's, some experienced veterans. We got some hot shot rookies. definitely a lot of cars that could make noise, but honestly, I think it's going to be pretty hard to beat that 55 of Michael Harvin. But regardless of the fact, definitely really excited to see this to the end, and it'll be interesting to see where everyone will line up.
Yeah, definitely going to see if anybody can break into that front row. I mean, I think Michael Harvin is pretty well guaranteed to get a front row start, knock on wood. But I think second might be up for grabs because we have three cars that got pretty close to each other. Maybe one of these last few cars has something for them, although just looking on who's left, the strength of these cars is maybe a bit lacking compared to the other two groups. But you never know. We could definitely get some upsets in there. Damon Kirby's still top 10 in the order. Shauna Everett's still top 10 in the order. So you never truly know until we run the laps. And that's what Lori Jackson is thinking to herself. Damon Kirby, her teammate, turned a 44.991. Her other teammate, Montana Sherman, turned a 45.298. So pretty wide range of results that Lori Jackson could be looking at here.
Turn number 4 here is trying to gain speed. They're coming down the front straightaway, gonna reach 197 to the line. 51.451. From what I've seen, that doesn't seem like too bad of an outlap. Going into turn 1, just barely gonna make it up to 200 though.
Not
And it's gonna
great.
start losing speed drastically.
Yeah. Most of the cars have been able to at least hold 200 for a decent amount, although it looks like she got a decent launch off of turn number 2, and she is gonna gain some speed down the back straightaway. So she could make some of that up here. 198 entering turn 3, not too bad. We'll see where she finishes off the lap at.
I had some really good power there down the back straightaway. Actually kind of surprising to see. I could have maybe gave her something to salvage for here. We'll see where she lines up here coming across the line.
45.207. That's going to put her 20th out of 32. So not fantastic, but it could have been worse for Lori Jackson. And here we have the last of the McPicky Motorsports cars. It's Holly Martin in the 6, and definitely high expectations for this car. After what the other 3 McPicky cars did, I mean, 2 of them went over 200, and the one that didn't, Corbin Taps, only barely didn't. So, you know, you gotta imagine that the 200-mile-an-hour lap is probably the benchmark for this 6 car.
Is definitely high considering especially where her teammates are lining up. So it'll definitely be interesting to watch this 6th car, and these big picky cars have been fast. Let's see if Holly Martin can deliver on that.
Yeah, Holly Martin won race number 2 at Rockingham this season, which Caleb was in the booth for. And she's 14th in points right now, which is the lowest of the McPicky cars, but it's still not too bad. She's definitely had a rebound season after last year did not go according to plan for Holly Martin. And we're really starting to see the benefit of this combination of drivers, even though they haven't been the flashiest. They've got a win, and they've competed for a couple of other wins as well. So expecting big things out of the 6 car here. Holly Martin finished 2nd in this race 2 years ago, so she's got a bit of a chip on her shoulder for sure. She's definitely eager to win this race.
Definitely have to see how she does here on this lap. Going down the back straightaway here into turn number 3. Like I said, she's definitely got a chip on her shoulder going into this one, and now with the competitive ride at McPicky Motorsports, she finally crossed that first win off the bucket list. Can't she maybe get another one crossed out?
Warm-up lap was pretty average, 51.489. Coming into turn number 1, she's not going to get past 200, and she's starting to lose speed fast. So this car not as fast as the other McPicky ones off the start here. Down to 195 out of turn 2. That's a bit concerning. But she's gaining some speed down the back.
Speed, though.
Pretty similar to what we saw for Lori Jackson, which gained a few seconds for her back. She got all the way up to 199 entering turn 3, though.
Was a really fast back straightaway there for Martin. Almost got up to 200. And see, coming off of turn number 4, the speed climbing once again for Martin as she comes across the line here. Going to be setting down a 45.1. Not
That
the
is-
best, but not terrible.
Yeah, that's going to put her 16th out of 33, pretty much right in the middle. That is the slowest of the McPicky cars, but not a terrible qualifying lap whatsoever.
Honestly, I guess kind of reminiscent of the season she's had so far.
I guess so. Next up on the grid is the number 5 TRD Action Racing Toyota, driven by Ellie Adams. And this action racing team has attempted the Lumen 500 a couple of times up to this point. This is their third try. They made it last year with Joanna Clark and actually had a good run going until she had to come and pit coming to the white flag. And Caleb, you were in the booth for that one as well. And since you were in the booth, I'm going to go ahead and ask about the main event, which is going to be 1 week from now. We have a similar package in terms of the I&I to last year, but definitely could see some differences in how the race plays out in the ratings. What are you expecting coming into the race 1 week from now?
I think compared to last year's race, we could definitely see a lot of factors stay the same, but a lot changing, especially kind of with this ratings threshold in place. But yeah, definitely excited to see what will go down in the main race. But regardless of what does happen, I think it is going to be very fun. Can't wait to see how it all plays out. And now here we go. Ellie Adams on the racetrack. On her outlap, have to see how she does here.
Ellie Adams, this is her first Lumen 500 attempt, but we know that she's pretty good on these super speedways, especially Atlanta. She seems to be taking a liking to that track. She finished in the top 10 here in her other LSCI start for this race team, which was at that track, and she also won an amateur race at Atlanta, the first ever amateur race that was ever run. So we know she can get it done on the big tracks. Yet to be seen how that'll affect her lap time, though. As we all know, the car is definitely a lot more important than the driver when it comes to single car qualifying here.
There we go. Coming to the line here down the front straightaway. Gonna just
Ooh.
barely miss that on 196 to the line, and not the best looking out lap there for Ellie Adams. Have to see if she can pick up speed here as the
Doesn't even
lap
get above
goes along.
198.
But yeah, it's not looking the best here.
Yeah, this car is puttering. This is not a very fast car, which is crazy to think because the slowest she's gone is 194. But that's just where we're at right now. These cars they've all absolutely nailed the setups on these cars in qualifying, and so they're just flying around this place. It's been very impressive to watch, and I've been one of the reasons why I've been so excited about this. But Ellie Adams is going to be one of the slower ones, it looks like, and she's going to have to make her way into the race through the duels. Coming across the line, it's a 45.497, which is the slowest time out of the 34 that have gone.
Not good there for Ellie Adams. Like you said, the slowest time we've seen so far here tonight. Maybe some changes are due in that number 5 machine before we get to the duels, because she's got a bit of an uphill climb for her.
Or it's possible that this car is in race trim, and they're preparing for the
That's
duels. But yeah, definitely not a good look for the 5 teams so far, but anything can happen in the duels. We know that all well from last year.
Yep.
Next up on the grid, the 27 of Adrienne Fersen, the other NH Motorsports car. Can you tell they're teammates? They look identical. But yeah, it has not been a good season for Adrienne Fersen. She had a good run last week at Iowa. I feel like I'm saying that a lot. A lot of drivers that struggled did have a good run at Iowa last week, but yeah, Fersen, it's been a rough go of it in her full-time return. Last year, she almost won this race, but got passed in the final laps. And we all know the story with Adrienne Fersen. She's been in racing a long time, but has never won a race before. And this would be quite the race to get it in.
Definitely, and we know they've got a chip on their shoulder after losing out on this race last year. But we'll have to see what kind of pace is under the hood there, that number 27. We had JT Boyd go out earlier and set a lap that is honestly probably the textbook definition of serviceable. So we'll have to see what Fersen does here on their lap.
Yeah, that was a 45.166 for JT Boyd. He's 17th out of the 34 cars that have gone right in the middle. And that's definitely a good benchmark for Adrienne to aim for. This car is pretty low down in the owner points, though. It is 28th in owner points, so it's unlikely that she'll be able to fall back on a provisional. So she's going to want to either have a good qualifying lap here or have a good finish in the duels. And a good qualifying lap here can help lead to a good finish in the duels. You know, sometimes we say the qualifying doesn't matter that much on super speedways, but with ratings differences like now, and some other factors, including the big crashes that could happen behind,
boy.
you definitely
You know
want to
what?
be...
Hang on just a second.
Yeah, you definitely want to... Oh, how is she already up at 201? Oh my goodness.
Hang on just a second. Adrian Pearson
203 through
is
the
on
corner.
a flyer.
This 27's looking pretty fast. But she slowed down coming off of the corner, but she's still at 197 going down the backstretch. This could be one of the better laps. And for someone like Pearson, who's way down in the owner points, this could be a good lap for her. If she ends up getting that final spot, not the greatest 3 and 4, but if she can hold her speed, only breathes 194 there, so we'll see. This 27's looking pretty quick. She might get to 202 at the line. 44.904. She's broken 200.
All right.
That's going to put her 6th. Wait, no, actually, that's going to put her 5th on the board. How about that for Adrienne Pearson?
Wow. A huge lap out of Pearson there. That is exactly what she needed to potentially get her season back on track. Great job.
Absolutely. She's now, all of a sudden, sitting in a pretty good spot where if she doesn't get in through the duels, she can kind of use that fail-safe of her qualifying lap, because I imagine Harvin, McCarran, DuPont, Barry, they all definitely have a better chance of transferring in than she does in terms of their cars, especially, since Harvin and McCarran are on the front row right now. But that was a great lap for Adrienne Pearson. That is exactly what she needed, like you said. And next up on the grid is the number 14 car, driven by LaTanya Gray. And this is possibly the most interesting car in the field. This car was assembled pretty much just by LaTanya herself in the All-Star Speed Team garage, which is an amateur series team, but this is not an All-Star Speed Team entry, because the amateur teams can't enter in Cup. But it's entered under LaTanya Race Team. This chassis she acquired from Cooper Spur, so, I mean, yeah, LaTanya's going to try and make the field for the 4th year in a row, and, I mean, Caleb, there's a lot to say about this. What do you think about LaTanya Gray here?
Well, I'm definitely interested to see what she can do here during this lap, and like I said, definitely one of arguably the most interesting entry into this race. And I'm definitely excited to see what she can do during this lap.
She won the amateur series race at Winchester not too long ago, so she has a win this year, but this is her first attempt at a Cup race this season. The whirlwind she halfway caused, but definitely went through over the offseason was definitely interesting. From requesting a trade from Hudson Motorsports to ending up at Diamond Motorsports to getting into beef with Mauricia Vebels, who was probably going to be her teammate, to then having both of them released very late into silly season and having to scramble for whatever ride they could get. To say that LaTanya Gray's off-season was turbulent would be a big understatement, but I tell you what,
Hang on.
Warm-up lap is really fast. She's going to get to 203 entering turn 1. There's no way, right? There's no possible
LaTanya,
way.
what'd you put in that thing?
I mean, again, this is a Cooper Spur chassis. It ran last year, and it didn't even make the race last year, I'm pretty sure. But, okay, she's slowing down a little bit on the backstretch. She's only holding 196, so, I mean, I don't think this time is going to be crazy, but... I mean, this is a lot faster than I think any of us expected her to go.
Definitely coming off of turn number 4 here. Definitely a lot better of a lap than we might have anticipated out of that 14, considering that it's pretty much just a car.
45.088.
45.0.
That's going to put
Not
her 13th.
bad for LaTanya Gray.
14th. 14th on the grid, just 1/1000th of a second behind Jack Gino. 14th out of 36, that's very good. Considering the circumstances, I'm flabbergasted. Next up, Martin Swain in the 20 car, teammate to Rhea Whitcomb, who ran 27th fastest. So that was a 45.280. And that's probably going to be the time to beat here for Martin Swain. And Caleb, you remember last year, Martin Swain was very good race pace wise. He led every lap in his duel and was pretty good in the main event as well. But, are we? Maybe Martin Swain has a little bit more in the car than Rhea might have.
We'll have to see. We've seen that Martin Swain is pretty good in this event, and of course, a lot of experience behind the wheel of that number 20 machine. And of course, we've seen that the Chevrolets are looking pretty quick. We just saw it out of the 14 Latanya Gray. So, see what Martin Swain can do here.
Yeah, Swain running a partial schedule for his own team. He's not a Lumen 500 only driver. He attempted the race in Atlanta and DNQ'd. This would be his first this would be the first race he makes of the year if he does make the race. But this 20 car doesn't have any owner points, so he's gonna have to have a very good qualifying lap, or he's gonna have to get in through the duels. And just remembering what Martin Swain did in the duels last year, I feel like maybe he's not that worried for the duels. But again, you never know what could happen in there. You don't really want to play the lottery game.
See if he does have to maybe go through that lottery once again here.
He's looking pretty quick right now, actually. He's 192 already on the warm-up
come
lap.
with a line.
Yeah, we'll have to see this time as he comes across the line. 51.181. That's pretty good.
Hey, all right.
Not carrying as much speed into turn one, though. He only got up to 200. But we'll see if he can kind of keep the speed consistent here. Drops to 196. Gets back up to 197, though. This is looking like a pretty solid lap here for Martin Swain.
And he's continuing to speed up here as we go down the back straightaway. He's going to reach 199 going into turns 3 and 4. So, yeah, this is looking like a pretty sporty lap here out of Martin Swain.
Definitely better than his teammate. We'll see how high up the grid he can get. This could be an important lap time for him to make the race if he isn't able to get through the duels. 45.058. That's going to put him 12th on the board.
All right.
These Chevrolets really are showing up here for the most part. And even some of the weaker Chevrolet cars have been putting forth some pretty good lap times, especially in Group 3.
Definitely, and yeah, like you said, a very big lap there out of Martin Swain, I guess both figuratively and literally.
Jacob Lopez is next in the 50 car. He is the third and final past champion to take a lap here. Kevin DuPont has the third fastest lap. Jack Gino has the 14th fastest lap. And this is the third of the Motor Racing Ventures cars to go out. And Caleb, the last one that went out, Michael Harvin, put down one of the most impressive laps that we've ever seen. Possibly the most impressive lap we've ever seen in LSCI history. Jacob Lopez has a high bar to clear. Do we think he has a shot to get onto the front row?
I think he definitely could have a potential shot here. Of course, teammate to Michael Harvin, and James Lopez, of course, a past champion of the series. So we know that he is a great driver, and we'll have to see what he can do here. Like I said, could potentially be more car than driver here at Daytona, but having a great driver behind the wheel as well could definitely get you a bit of an advantage as well.
Lopez is 11th in points, so he's pretty good in terms of making the race. He had a bit of a scare last year when he was further down in points, but he made that one too. He has one win on the year. That was at Coda on a road course. Even if it was rain shortened, let's say, he still won that race. So, you know, it's been a decent season for Lopez. A little bit better than last year. So, definitely definitely looking to kind of break himself into the top 10 in points here with a good run here. He's looking pretty good on this warm-up lap. We'll see what he has across the line. Oh, never mind.
Ooh.
That's not as good as I thought it was. He had a lot of speed off of 4, but I guess he didn't get up to speed that fast. And he's only going to hit 200 not for very long in turns 1 and 2. And this is looking like a pretty disappointing lap for Jacob Lopez.
Yeah, so far, definitely not the best for this number 50 machine.
However, he's carrying
picking
good
up a
speed
bit
down
of
the
speed
back.
here.
He's going to get
Definitely
to
not looking like
199.
Michael Harvin fast, but looking decent here in the second half of the lap.
Should be close to his other teammate, Adrian Wheeler, who turned a 45.105. We'll see where Lopez ends up on the charts. Wheeler's 16th, by the way, out of 37. And it's a 45.130 for Jacob Lopez, so a little bit slower than that. 18th quickest for the number 50 car.
Considering how the teammates have been doing, probably not what Lopez was looking for, but still a pretty decent lap there.
Next up, the 36 of Haley Taps, and we have not seen Taps on the track in a while. This is her first LSCI start of the year. Kind of semi-retired from LSCI after last season, but she said she was still open for any special one-off races if she were to get the offer. Blake Everett Motorsports offered her this race and chomped at the bit to get here. So her two teammates are 11th and 26th on the charts right now, so pretty wide range there for Taps. And Caleb, I know you're pretty familiar with Haley Taps. She raced for your amateur series team last year and won a race as well. So won 2 races, I think, if I'm not mistaken. But what are you thinking about Haley Taps here in the Lumen 500 this year?
Definitely looking forward to seeing what Haley can do. Of course, like you mentioned, her first start this season. The last one came at Talladega back last season. And you know what, in that race, Corbin, her brother, ended up going to victory lane. So I guess make of that what you will. But, have to see how Haley does here during her lap. Of course, teammates kind of got mixed bag results leading up to this. So it'll definitely be really interesting to see what Taps can do here.
This 36 car is not very high up in the owner standings, 37th in fact, so that means this car is a go or go home. So she has to get through the qualifying or else she's not going to make the race. So a lot of pressure on Haley Taps for sure on this lap, and if it's not that great in the duels.
Coming through 3 and 4 here, coming to the front straightaway, trying to get that car up to speed. Starting to pick up a little bit of speed here as we come down the front straightaway. Gonna probably reach 197 to the line. Not the best warm-up lap.
51.87.
Gaining a good bit of speed going into 1. Gonna reach 201 there.
She's gonna hold it for
quite a while.
Yeah, decent amount. But she's losing speed in turn 2. Barely tapped 194 there, which is never a good sign. And I don't think Haley Taps is going to be having that fast of a lap here.
Not the quickest there down the back straightaway, and losing a bit more speed there going into 3 and 4. I have to see where she lines up. Not looking the best for Haley Taps, but we'll see what kind of time she can clock in here.
Across the line at 199, it's a 45.458. That is 36th fastest. So, yeah, Taps is definitely going to have to go through the duels here. Caleb, definitely not the lap that you wanted out of your former driver. Next up, the last of the checkered flag racing cars is the 35 of Rebecca Raymond. And Rebecca Raymond in qualifying have definitely not mixed very well this season. She had a flurry of DNQs at the start of the year. She's gotten a little bit better at making the races as of recent, but Raymond has been really she's mainly been just struggling to make the races. When she actually does get into a race, she's not too terrible, but really just a lack of pace in that car all year. And she really needs a good speed weeks this season, because not only is just her pride on the line, but she might have her job on the line, because no amount of money is going to fix DNQing half the races.
Definitely. It's been a season to forget for that 35 team and Rebecca Raymond so far this season. Like I kind of mentioned, the qualifying pace just hasn't really been there for the 35, and like I said, this could definitely be a very important series of events for Raymond, as her job could potentially be on the line here. So, have to see what she can do here in Lumen 500 qualifying.
Her
This will
three
definitely be
teammates.
interesting to watch.
Her three teammates are 9th, 25th, and 31st, so definitely trending on the slower side for checkered flag racing, but you do still have Damon Kirby up there in the top 10, so we know that those cars can have good laps. We know that they're capable. We'll see if the 35 team's able to put one together. And yeah, been a rough season for Raymond. This could be a good race to turn things around, though, if she can get into the field here.
Hold on. Gaining a lot of speed here down the front stretch.
Oof. Oh, not good.
Not the best out lap, but barely reach 202 there.
Kissed it twice.
Going into turn number 1.
Yeah, kissed 202 twice going through the corner there, losing a lot of speed through the turn 2. Now this is looking a lot like the lap that we just saw from Haley Taps, which is not a good sign for Rebecca Raymond. She's probably going to have to go through the duels here. She held 195 all the way down the backstretch.
Oh, yeah, started out promising there for Raymond, some good speed going into turn number 1, but rest of the lap, it's fortunately kind of slowly been dwindling for Raymond as she comes down the front straightaway here into the line, going to clock in at a 45.3.
45.317. So it did turn out a little better than Haley Taps' lap, but that's still not great. 33rd quickest out of the 40 that have qualified for Rebecca Raymond. And here is a driver that I've been waiting for the past few. Darren Walker, the last of the Walker Brothers racing cars, co-owner of the race team itself, and last week's winner at Iowa. But the big story here is that the other two Walker Brothers racing cars are 2nd and 3rd in the timesheets. They both went over 200.5 miles per hour. So this could be a very fast race car. Caleb, what do you think? Do you think he can match the times that McCarran and DuPont set?
I think he definitely has the opportunity to. These Hondas, excuse me, have looked really fast here so far. Have to see how Darren Walker does here. Of course, the bar, understandably, pretty high going in. So the pressure going to be on for the driver at number 8, but see what he can do.
Yeah, Darren Walker was down on 22nd in points before he won at Iowa. He's up to 16th now, 15th now. But, you know, he's been turning his season around after the kind of lackluster start. And given the speed that these Walker Brothers racing cars have had, he could definitely put down a flyer of a lap. We'll see what the truest Honda has here today. Walker, of course, has been in every Lumen 500. And he finished 2nd in this race in Season 1, right behind Karina Willis-Callaway. We'll see.
I'll tell you what, this is looking pretty sporty for the outlap.
It's a little too early to tell right now, but he is gaining quite a bit of speed in the trial. Will gets to 199 across the line. A pretty average outlap, 51.539. Carrying some speed into turn 1, gets up to 203. Can he carry the speed through the corner? He does decently well if he can stay above 197. Ooh, he got down to 196. Can he get it back up there? Ooh, it's not looking like it. I don't think he's got the same speed that the other two have. Oh, he did eventually get there.
Just barely got there down the back straightaway.
Yeah, not looking as fast as his teammates, but this is still looking like a decent lap here for Darren Walker coming out of turn number 4. We're going to have to see what the time across the line is. He gets up to 199, 200. Can he get to 201? Yes, he can. 45.071. Pretty solid lap there. That'll put him in that'll put him in 13th.
Pretty solid lap there at Aaron Walker. Not bad at all.
Yeah, and I mean, if the worst time that your team turns is a 45.071 at Daytona, I'd say you had a pretty good single car quali session.
Mm-hmm. Whole team's probably feeling pretty good about that one.
Next car on the grid, the number 62 of Vinny Scholes, the last of the Pacific Racing cars. And the Pacific cars have been struggling for speed in the single car quality session. Their fastest car is Kate Summers, who is currently 25th with a 45.202. But Vinny Scholes did win the pole here last year, so she has had fast single car qualifying in the past. We'll just have to see if it translates to this session as well. And you got to think Pacific Racing's got to try and get at least one of these cars a decent qualifying lap.
Yeah, so far, Pacific Racing definitely been on the struggle bus so far during this session, but Benny Scholes, she's had success in qualifying here in the past. We'll have to see how the 62 lines up here, but here we go. Scholes going to begin her outlap here, and we'll have to see what kind of pace this 62's got. We know the driver definitely has the pace to do it. We'll see if the car could potentially hold up here.
And unlike Charlie McCarron, she's not guaranteed to start this race, but I will bring up the stat. She's run every LSCI race up to this point and hasn't won yet. So just more motivation for Vinny Scholes each coming week to try and get that win. Just the team has not been up to par with where they were last year, and even last year they were kind of middle of the road, but definitely a lot of struggling for Pacific Racing this season. We'll see if Vinny Scholes can maybe salvage a good lap for this team.
Mustering up a lot of speed here coming off of 4.
Yeah, not looking like it's going to be that bad of an outlap. She's going to be 199 across the line, 51.3. That's pretty solid. We'll see if she can keep that. See if she can keep that speed going. 203 into turn number 1.
Honestly,
And
looking like the lap we saw at Darren Walker.
Losing speed through the corner. All the way down to 196. It was looking good there. She's picking up a little bit more. Got it back, though. Yeah, picking up a little bit more. This isn't looking too terrific for Vinny Scholes. Definitely looking better than all her teammates did. We'll have to see where she ends up on the timesheet after this is done.
I think this is definitely looking really similar, maybe even a little bit quicker than we saw out of Darren Walker, so this could definitely be a very solid lap here out of Vinny Scholes across the line.
45.020. Just a hair under 200 miles an hour. She's going to be 10th on the grid.
All right, Vinny.
So I wanted to get her to get 200 so bad. I know my bias is showing, but man. You know what though?
So she was able to come in clutch when it mattered most.
Yeah, at least one of them got a good qualifying time, and good on Vinny. Seems like she's got a bit of a knack for single car quali at the super speedways. Next up is the last of the Columbia Motorsports cars. We've only got 4 cars left to go. JB Chanot, the Season 2 Lumen 500 winner, all the way back in 2023. And that's still her only win in LSCI. Had a rough season last year for Columbia Motorsports, but this year looking a little better. She's 8th in points. She's actually the highest of the Columbia Motorsports cars in the point standings. She's known for her good starts to the year, but she usually she struggled later down the line. We're still in that early portion of the year, and JB Chanot trying to keep that momentum going. The other Columbia cars are 15th, 19th, and 24th on the grid, so pretty mediocre across the board for them. The time that she's going to be trying to beat in terms of her teammates is a 45.085 by Kobe Hollenbeck.
It's not the greatest, not the worst qualifying session here so far for these Columbia Motorsports cars. Like you mentioned, the highest being Kobe Hollenbeck there in the 15th position. Have to see what JB Chanot can do here from one green Toyota to another. Have to see where this 29 will line up.
It's interesting that the 2 fastest Toyotas in this session have been an NH car and a Pacific car. Neither of them, the main Toyota team, the Columbia Motorsports cars. But maybe JB Chanot can break that trend here. In the number 29 car, she's pretty good on these super speedways. She almost won at Atlanta in the season opener, but got passed off the final corner by Zach Dearman, ended up finishing second, and of course won this race here 2 years ago. So we know that she can get it done on the big tracks. See what this outlap's going to be here. 51.374, pretty similar to Vinny Schulz's outlap, so this could be a good lap for JB Chanot. Didn't go as fast through turn number 1 though, but she's not losing speed as fast either, so she still gets down to 196 though, just like Vinny did. This is looking very, very similar. Maybe a little bit slower than Vinny's lap.
So regardless of the fact, looking like a really solid lap here out of JB Chanot. Fortunately, kind of stayed stagnant there at 196 there down the back straightaway. And loses speed a little bit once again here through 3 and 4, but if she can gain that speed here down the front straightaway. But this could definitely be the best lap we've seen out of these Columbia cars. See to the line, 45-1. It will not beat Kobe Hollenbeck.
Or Lakin Herndon. She's going to end up 23rd with that time. Next up, Karina Willis-Callaway. We got 3 cars left to go, and this has been... she's been the enigma of the series, I think. Don't get me wrong, Karina Willis-Callaway is a great driver, but she has... her car is not great. Regardless, she is 5th in points and is guaranteed a spot in the field. So the amount of absolute carrying that this driver has done for Connie Twins Motorsports, especially this season, is absolutely phenomenal. And I'm just in awe of what she's been doing this year.
Definitely. Callaway has been just so much fun to watch so far this season. She's taking that car absolutely beyond the limits that it should be. And we'll have to see how it does during this lap, of course. This is a track where speed means a lot, and I don't know, we'll have to see where this 41 car will line up, but it's been a qualifying session full of surprises here so far. And honestly, I'd not be that surprised if Callaway were to pull a pretty big lap here.
And we mentioned it a couple of times during qualifying. The car, definitely more important than the driver in these quali sessions. Lulu Connie, her girlfriend and teammate, is 39th right now with a 45.444. So pretty, not a great lap from the 42. We'll see if Karina will be able to get a little bit more out of the race car than Lulu did.
I'll tell you what, she's already getting to 190 here through 3 and 4.
Coming to the start-finish line.
Speed as I anticipated down the front stretch.
Yeah, lost a lot of speed on the front stretch. 51.6, not a great outlap for Karina Willis-Callaway. Not even going to get to 199 through turn number 1. So, yeah, like I said, the car matters a lot more than the driver here. Karina's a great driver, but in single-car qualifying, there's only so much she can do. But she can take solace in the fact that she will not have to qualify her way into the race, and that she's locked in no matter what happens. Of course, she wouldn't want to have to take a points provisional and start in the back, but, you know, she at least can know that she's not going to DNQ this race.
I think definitely nice there for Karina Willis-Callaway. Was able to get a little bit of speed there down the back straightaway, but here to the line going to be a 45.5.
That's the slowest lap so far. 45.522. Yeah, that's not good. Not good for sure. I am honestly impressed with how slow that lap was. Maybe she wasn't pushing it that hard. I don't know. I don't know what the explanation is there. I mean, obviously these cars have been struggling for pace, but you know, it's still a bit disappointing there to see Karina doing so well in the races and just having a lap that low. But she does thrive in the races, so we'll see. She's come from the back before to get some solid results, so we'll see. It'll be a lot more interesting to see what Karina does come race time.
It definitely will, and I guess, you know, like I said, it's been a qualifying session full of surprises so far, and honestly, considering the season that she's had still up to this point, honestly kind of surprising. Fortunately, not really in the good way there.
Second to last car to roll off the backstretch here is Tamarin Bellinger in the 65, and it's been a while since we've seen a Diamond Motorsports car on the track. In fact, Their teammate, Joanna Clark, was the first one to go, and Joanna's 41st with a 45.464. So definitely Tamarin at least needs to beat that time, but this car, despite attempting every race, is a go or go home car. They're behind the 5 car in the owner standings, which is pretty awful. It's been a season to forget for Tamarin Bellinger. Not entirely Tamarin's fault because this team is in a rebuild, but like even look at Joanna Clark, and Joanna's been consistently better than they've been so far. But Bellinger's just focused on one thing and one thing only, and that's getting this car into the Lumen 500.
Yeah, definitely. We'll have to see what Bellinger can do in that Diamond Motorsports 65. Like you said, it's just been a season to forget. Honestly, for that team in general, it's been a really rough go at it for both cars. And I mean, the season, ever since we had the kind of fallout there between Latanya Gray and Marisha Febbles, that team's kind of just been scrambling left and right. And yeah, definitely kind of unfortunate to see them struggle here so far this season. But we'll have to see if they can turn it around. And honestly, I don't really know if would be a better race to turn it around than here in the Lumen 500.
And I mean, it really started in season 2 for Diamond Motorsports. The fall off was pretty
Yeah.
drastic between season 1 and season 2. And you know, all the stuff with Latanya Gray and then losing Jack Gino just made things worse. And so now they're stuck with 2 rookie drivers. 51.777. That despite the triple sevens there, that's not a very lucky opening lap. 201 into turn 1 isn't too bad though. So maybe Bellinger will be able to try and get something out of this car, but it's just not. It just doesn't have that much pace. Down to 195 on the backstretch, and not really getting that much faster.
Yeah, looks like it's going to stay there down the back straightaway. Stagnant at 195 going into 3 and 4. Not looking like the best lap here for Tamarin Bellinger. We'll see where that car will line up. It looks like the struggles for Diamond Motorsports might continue on here.
45.378, so faster than Joanna Clark, but that's going to put them 38th out of the 45 cars. And I mean, I guess that's not the worst experience Tamarin Bellinger has had at this racetrack, if you remember last year's Lumen 500. But also, if you remember last year's Lumen 500, Bellinger was able to squeak into the field right at the end of their duel, so maybe they'll be able to do the same this year. And the last car out on the grid, another driver Caleb is pretty familiar with, James Harvin, the 2024 LSCI Amateur Series champion, current Rookie of the Year leader. He is 19th in points. This is his second attempt at the Lumen 500, failed to make the race last year. Also driving for Motor Racing Ventures. And he is the last line of defense between Michael Harvin and the pole. Michael Harvin is guaranteed a front row start now, but it's just a matter of if he can hold on to that pole position. Or will we get a Harvin brothers front row lockout? Caleb, what do you think?
Honestly, definitely excited to see what James can do here during his lap. We know he's a great driver, of course, reigning amateur series champion behind the wheel there, and he's had a pretty solid season here so far. Maybe still trying to adjust here to the Cup Series level, but regardless, he's seems to be adjusting pretty well and is having a pretty solid season here up to this point. But I'll have to see what James can do here during this lap. We've seen the Motor Racing Ventures cars go really fast here so far during this qualifying session. And honestly, definitely interesting to see the last thing in between Michael Harvin and the pole position is his own brother.
Yeah, you couldn't have scripted it any better. And we'll see. We'll see what James has in store here. Again, he's trying to make his first Lumen 500. He didn't make it last year, so you know that's priority number one. He's got a better chance this season just by being higher up in owner points. Looking like a pretty solid. Looking like a pretty solid warm-up lap here for James Harvin. He's going to get to 199 across the line, 51.32. Nothing crazy like his brother did, but looking pretty good. Entering turn 1, he's going to get up to 203. See if he can carry that speed around the corner a little bit, but not fantastic. He's going to get down to 196 on exit. So I think it's pretty safe to say at this point that Michael Harvin's probably got this pole wrapped up. And this could still be a decent lap here for James Harvin, though.
It definitely could, as he seemed to carry a decent amount of speed there. And coming through 3 and 4 here down the front straightaway. These Motor Racing Ventures cars definitely have the pace. They'll be definitely ones to watch out for once we get to the duels and eventually the main event. But coming across the line, going to be a 45-0 there for the 45 of James Harvin.
That is going to put him in the 13th position. So not a bad run from Harvin, but not good enough for the pole, as it will be his brother Michael Harvin who will be starting in first in the Lumen 500 this season. He is going to start alongside Charlie McCarron on the front row. And that is going to conclude single car qualifying here in the Lumen 500. Here, you're going to see your dual lineups for when those start on Tuesday. And then you guys on YouTube are going to see it later. But, well, Caleb, it was nice having you up in the booth here today. Any final thoughts about this qualifying session?
Yeah, definitely a very fun qualifying session here from Daytona. A lot of surprises we saw here tonight, and a really spectacular job there for Michael Harvin getting the pole position. Honestly, kind of nice to see a bit of a return to form there for that 55 team. He's had a pretty rough go at it so far this season. So nice to see him back towards the top of the charts. But yeah, just thank you so much for having me up here. I really like, honestly, calling these single car qualifying sessions. They're always a lot of fun, and this one was definitely no exception to that. So thank you so much for having me up here. And cannot wait for the rest of Speedway. It's going to be really fun to see the duels and the main event. Definitely can't wait to see how it'll all play out.
Yeah, absolutely. I love doing single car qualifying. It gives us a chance to talk about every single driver and team in the race. They all get their own chance to shine. Even if they're not running very fast, they at least get to be talked about. But honestly, every car, even the slowest times, every car was absolutely booking it around this track. I mean, these are the fastest speeds we've ever seen from a restricted stock car at this track. We had 9 drivers join the 200-mile-an-hour club, and it's that in itself was an incredible sight to witness. Thank you guys for watching this gauntlet of a video, or 3 separate videos, depending on how things work out. And thank you to all 3 of our co-commentators, Anthony McClure, Darian Arnsdorf, and Caleb Rose. And also a special shout out to NASCAR Man, who was providing the live updates of the Lumen 500 time trials in the Discord VC. They might get added to the video as well. I'll try and figure out some way to put that in there. But huge thanks to him as well for helping out with this project. And yeah, on behalf of all those guys and for the Left Turn Network, this is Brennan Wilmington signing out.